This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Well, let's get back to it.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Who? Who's that? Thunderstorm warnings have spread to the entirety of the UK, with the Met Office declaring that floods will remain a threat for the country until Monday. They said,
emergency, everybody to get from street. Emergency, everybody to get from street.
Intense thunderstorms and torrential rain could cause flooding and even pose a danger to life in some areas, while there is also a risk of power cuts and loss of services to homes and businesses due to damage caused by floodwater, hail, strong winds, thunder, lightning. Very, very frightening.
Rock and roll!
Yellow weather warnings have been issued for the southwest of England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, large parts of northern, eastern and southern England, which sounds like everywhere to me. Millions of people across major towns and cities are set to be impacted by intense bouts of rain, including but not limited to London, Brighton, Portsmouth, Chelmsford, St Albans and Cambridge. Wherever they are. Some areas could see up to 75 millimetres of rain in just a few hours, with heavy showers expected to continue until Wednesday. 75 millimetres of rain. And 75 millimetres in feet is such a simple calculation that an idiot could do it. You simply double it and add 32. So double 75 millimetres is 180, and 180 plus 32 is 202. Wow! There's going to be 202 feet of rain before Wednesday. Can you believe that?
Yes.
And because we've had all this rain, we also have hosepipe bans. Because the heavy rain won't penetrate the earth and fill up the aquifers. It'll just run off because the ground is so dry, and we'll have floods and a hosepipe ban. Experts say the amber thunderstorm alert includes London, which is particularly susceptible to surface water issues because of the high proportion of impermeable surfaces. Plus, the water company responsible has been more keen on rewarding itself for excellence in being them, rather than spend that money on the blooming thing we thought we were paying our bills for.
Stop whining.
The Chief Met Office meteorologist Andy said that intense rainfall is set to hit the UK, adding that it is also expected to be busy on the roads as more schools in England and Wales finish for the summer holidays. He said if you find yourself in difficult driving conditions, make sure your car has a matte paint job and the engine sounds like the earth being ripped apart. Of course, if you are the son of a prince fresh in from Dubai and you've shipped over your collection of stupidly fast cars that you'll drive around Harrods at 5 miles an hour, you will already be doing this.
Thank you.
Also, National Rail advised passengers to check the service before they travel and allow extra time to walk to where you're going, because that will probably be quicker.
Fabulous.
And, by the way, this comes after all 4 UK nations experienced their warmest spring on record, as in ever. June marked England's warmest on record since 1884. Rainfall across England, 20% less than the long-term average. Drought declared in East and West Midlands, joining swathes of northern England in drought status. And there's never any good news in a sentence that contains the word swathes.
Correct.
And, according to the Met Office, the UK is likely to see more frequent and intense heat waves in the future. Just last month, the Met Office's research showed that the chances of hitting 40 degrees centigrade are climbing at pace. On the other hand, there's some grinning, know-nothing, oily charlatan who's been paid for by the fossil fuel companies to say this, tells us that climate change isn't real and we should go back to using coal. Who to believe? Right, texts and such from last night. It says, what about Trump denying that he writes pictures? He said that. He said, I don't write pictures. I wonder if he said write pictures deliberately in order to make it sound like he is a person who doesn't even know what a picture is. I don't write pictures. This text says, what about Trump trying to deny that he writes pictures, but several signed pictures written by him have surfaced and some were auctioned for ridiculous amounts of money?
Don't be rude.
Yeah, they were ridiculous, like 5-figure sums for his squiggles. David in Chichester says, can you think of a country that begins with the letter A? Oh, this is the thing that discombobulated me at the end of the show last night. And I couldn't. I had to get told the answer to this. Shall I read it again? Oh, all right then. David in Chichester says, can you think of a country that begins with the letter A, but does not end with the letter A? He said, it took me weeks to think of one that was doing my head in. And then I asked my 10-year-old son, and he got one straight away. Proof that the youth are wiser than us oldies. That's right. And I couldn't. I sat here, my brain was all of a squiggle. I had no idea. And I thought, Australia, Albania, Austria. But then I sort of ran out. I was doing continents. Asia, no. Afghanistan.
Yes.
That's the answer. Afghanistan, yeah. Egypt. Joel in Crawley says, Nick, you were right about some people stuck in their youth. I know people nearly in their 40s dressing head to toe in Oasis merch.
Rock and roll!
You're also right that there is so much good stuff out there, you will just have to let Spotify play to let you discover. I don't do Spotify. He said, do you like Aussie bands? Well, it depends. I like The Table, Do the Standing Still. Anybody remember that?
No.
That was one that came and went in the punk era. I mean, AC/DC, half Glaswegian, of course, but yes, okay, of course, why not? Everybody loves AC/DC. Other than that, don't really know very much about them. Midnight Oil, I've run out. Anyway, it says, do you like Aussie bands? Check out Mac DeMarco. I most certainly will do nothing of the sort. But there are a lot of good bands out there at the moment. I'm going to say something controversial right now.
Oh, no.
One of the bands that I saw at Glastonbury that I was surprised at how much I liked what they did was, are you ready? Grip onto something firm. Kneecap.
What?
Yep. Liked them quite a lot. I'm not saying that I agree with everything that they say. I'm just saying that I liked what I saw, that's all. Leanne in Far says, Trump bingo card needs 100% making into a commemorative tea towel and sold on Amazon with the book. At least we'd all know where to find it. What book? Are you talking about the Epstein list? There is no such thing as the Epstein list. Does not exist. Because it was on that woman's desk, but turns out her desk doesn't exist either, and neither does her office, or the building that it used to be in. And in regards to somebody who said that they were, I can't remember how it came up, but they said that they were going to take a bike ride at night. This text says, riding a bike at night for anything other than out of necessity is incredibly weird. That's not very reasonable, is it? I see no end of people riding bikes at night. Of course, they're weaving about a lot. Probably not a good idea to get drunk and then go rent one of them heavy bikes. I think doctors in hospitals around here have got a nickname for people with broken legs who come in. They call it, I better not say the company's name out loud, but one of the companies that provides these bikes, they call it legs. I mean, there's just loads of them, apparently, because the bikes are very, very heavy and people aren't used to riding them, and they're usually, fully refreshed when they get on.
Booze.
Which sounds like a stupid idea to me. Don't do it, kids. Martin in Chelmsford says there's so much stupidity each day from the orange idiot, but my favourite this week was him complaining about Biden appointing Jerome Powell as the Fed chairman. He didn't realise it was himself that appointed Powell in February 2018. He really is that stupid. Well, he might not be that stupid. It's hard to tell. But he most certainly believes that his fans are that stupid.
I love the poorly educated.
I mean, he just makes up stuff right off the top of his head and just blurts it out, and it becomes the truth to his, his fan base. Those people. It is absolutely extraordinary. He was banging on about his grandfather that used to be the world's most celebrated genius, and that's how that Donald Trump got his smarts.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, his relative used to be a celebrated genius that no one's ever heard of. Never mind. He went to MIT, as Trump keeps pointing out over and over and over and over again, and he taught the Unabomber. Can't remember what the guy's name is off the top of my head. You remember the Unabomber, right? Turns out that the Unabomber didn't go to MIT. And Trump's granddad wasn't at MIT at the same time that the Unabomber was studying anyway. But, he just thought it up and he blurted it out and it became the truth to his fans. Spud in what? Really? Spud? Spud in Watford says, Nick, great news for the 16 plus to get the vote. However, Labour really need to up the communication and get some decent influencers to assist with Instagram and TikTok, etc. Correct, Amundo. Yes. Are you listening, Skier?
No.
No, probably not. But you need to up your game big time, because I think the notion that 16 and 17-year-olds will automatically vote Labour is something that you should rethink, because I'm not sure that they will at all, particularly the way that this particular iteration of the Labour Party is going. A bit too dictatorial for the kids, I suspect. Maybe they'll go for the Greenies.
Groovy.
Who knows? St Albans. Hello, Alex.
Nick, good evening. Thanks
Alex,
for taking my call. How are
thanks
you?
for making your call. Very well, thanks.
Excellent. I meant to phone in with this last night, and I know it's a bit less topical today, but it's. I wanted to mention Stephen Colbert. Did you talk about him last night?
No.
I mean, what was your reaction when you? I assume you heard about it. What was your reaction when you heard it had happened?
I'm a little bit disappointed with each organisation that does something that Trump doesn't like, and then he demands that they change, or he won't, allow a merger, or he's going to pull their funding, and every single institution just falls immediately to the floor and begs for his forgiveness. All of them, the universities, the newspapers, the media organisations. There isn't a single solitary one that has actually stood up to him. And I suspected that was what was going on here. Now, the company involved, I think it's CBS, isn't it? They are insisting that it wasn't anything to do with that at all. It wasn't anything about a merger that Donald Trump has to okay before it goes through. Billions and billions and billions of dollars at stake, and that had nothing to do with it. And it was, in fact, the falling audience for late-night chat shows in America. And, I can kind of believe that. I mean, Stephen Colbert was the number one in his time slot, which is kind of unusual that he would get fired before the people that he's beating. But it's a very, very expensive show to make. I was talking about this last night, about the number of people that American comedy shows hire as writers.
It's about 200, isn't it?
200 people do that show.
Yeah. And Jimmy Kimmel's show is about the same.
Yeah, it's about the same, yeah. And if it was on in this country, it would be 6 people and some youth trainees running around making people coffee. And that's why we can't do it, and they can. So, to be honest, it's a show I've never watched, because we don't get it here, do we? I don't think it's on any of the... What?
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'd ask my question. We don't get it here, do we?
The clips, his opening monologue is probably the best bit of the show, and that's always on YouTube by the following morning. So that's the bit that I'm most familiar with.
Right.
And that's the bit that 2 days prior to the announcement, his monologue was criticising CBS for giving Trump a $16 million big fat bribe.
That's right, yes. What I'm a little more concerned about is that they might can Jon Stewart. Now, his nightly show, he only does one a week now, and the other people aren't really up to his quality. But if they can him, I think that would be worse. The person I really, really don't want to lose their job on air is John Oliver, the Brit who went to America to be.
I quite like him.
Yeah, he's very good.
So, have you cast your eyes over BBC News homepage today?
No.
There is an article in one of the top spots called "Is This the Death of the Late Night US Chat Show?"
Yeah,
and it's worrying for what it doesn't say, in my humble opinion. Sorry if I'm rambling on, but it basically paints every possible permutation of why it's being cancelled, apart from the political angle. It's very heavy on the chances that it's not political, and reading between the lines, it really does feel like the BBC is virtue signalling that it. And I might sound like a radical lefty, lead-believing loony here, but It sounds like the BBC are virtue signalling that they are not a threat to Donald Trump. And if that is the case, where is that coming from? Where is the editorial direction coming from?
Well, I've got no idea. Like I said, the BBC News website is probably at the very bottom of my list, just below the Mirror. No offence, Mirror, but you're not the thing that I look at first. No, but it is all very, very concerning. And, I had this thought today. And I cannot believe I'm about to say this out loud, but Donald Trump may have picked a fight with pretty much the only person in the world, and I would include Elon Musk in this, the only person on Earth who he can't win against, and that is Rupert Murdoch. Is it possible that Rupert Murdoch could save the world?
I have the popcorn ready.
Yeah, get your popcorn out. It's going to be, like they say in America, a doozy. Thanks a lot, Alex.
Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not.
Yeah. How does that sound, ladies? Exactly. This text, I'm doing yesterday's text. There's not many, actually. I was very, very good yesterday. And I got through quite a lot of them, so not many, but this one says, about this thing about 16 being too young to vote. Let's think about those who are too old to vote. Think about that narrow victory that the Leavers had in that Brexit referendum. A referendum winning majority made up of the over 75s who have fallen off the conveyor belt of life. It leaves all of the rest of us in a poorer Brexit Britain. So thanks very much, dead people, says that anonymous texter. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Majorca, James.
Nick, good evening.
Yes, sir.
I thought I'd break my duck. Well, hi, nice to talk to you. I thought I'd break my duck. You seem to have taken over part of my life because I'm in this mythical Facebook fan group of yours, and so now the conversation carries on all week. You see, so it's not just Fridays and Saturdays for me.
Right.
So I thought I'd break it to you. You're now an official influencer.
I'm an influencer.
I've in the past week bought one of those insect bats because we get plenty of those flying about things over here.
Yes, I bet you do. And how's that working out for you?
I've quite a few moths going on, so it's very satisfying catching those for that thing. And then your correspondent from across the pond last week mentioned this salt gun. I've got one of those on order as well. So,
yes. That sounds quite alarming. It's a pump-action shotgun that fires salt with which you can blast away at insects. But what if you miss the insect and hit one of your knickknacks?
Well, moths tend to sort of, or moths and other things tend to sort of sit in the corners and what have you. So it's not that perilous. That's not really the reason I called.
Okay.
I had a theory about Trump which I haven't heard before, which I thought I'd share with you.
Yeah.
But first of all, there's a couple of podcasts I listened to, and one in particular mentioned this theory that if this whole Epstein list is a nothing burger, why not release it? It seems that given his basis forgiven him for his sexual assaults that he's been found guilty of. His first wife, Ivana, accused him of rape, which she then withdrew, but nonetheless it's there. There's 32 counts of misdemeanor.
Yeah, okay, you don't have to list it all. We get it. I mean, I've only got a brief 3-hour show. You don't have to list all of his misdemeanors. Go ahead.
Well, they've forgiven him for a lot.
A lot,
so this is if he's on the list, then clearly it's something he feels that his base will not forgive him for. So it's got to be pretty serious.
Well, I have no idea. But being on the list, of course, does not imply or prove wrongdoing on the part of the person who is on the list. It just means that they have been in the orbit of a man who did wrong.
But the other thought, well, yes, of course. But the other thought I had, which I haven't heard anybody say before, but of course here we're talking about the mafia don, the guy who likes to rule everybody.
Yeah.
He now has control over the list. So whether he's on the list or he isn't...
If such a list exists, I mean, they still haven't... Pam Bondi, his Attorney General, That's who that is, right? I mean, I forget who these people are. They all look like TV game show hosts, or the ones that finger the prizes that you're about to win. All of the women.
It's the blondie who's not his spokesperson.
Right. Yeah. Okay. The one with the shorter hair. She first said that the list was on her desk, and she was getting ready to release it. And then, when pressed, said, "What list? There is no list. There's no such thing as a list. Why is anybody talking about a list?" Which is pretty, I don't know, suspicious, a little bit.
So if there was no list, then release the files, right? But think of it this way: he now has control over whether whatever this list contains, whether it's real or not. He now has control over who people are on the list.
Right.
It's a phenomenal opportunity for a shakedown.
Well, this is what he promised his fans all along, that he was going to drain the swamp, that he was going to release the list, and all of the people that had anything to do with Epstein were going to be, dragged through the spotlight of public scrutiny and all of the rest of it. And that was his big promise to his fans, apart from I'm going to be cruel to people that don't look like you. That was the other big one. Now he's in a position to make that happen, then suddenly he didn't mean it so much. And that's what's really riling them up, because his fans were eager to read names. They wanted to read famous names and then, see them all brought down. And now there's this cover being drawn over it. They feel a little bit let down. Their Donny has lied to them.
Oh, yeah, but that's either to protect himself, or it's the power that this list actually hands him.
Well, again, the list is not proof of wrongdoing. The list is just that you were either on his plane or you were on his island, and I don't know what all the secrets of the island are, but I'm sure that what he was doing was not out in the open. He had all sorts of buildings with secret compartments and all of that sort of stuff. So just being on the island isn't necessarily one thing or the other either. And neither is being on his plane or being at a party with him or any of those things. So the list isn't really it. It's everything else that they've got. They had something like, I can't remember exactly what the number was, but it's something like 300 gigabytes of material that they took. And there's a film you can put on your computer, and it can be about 3 megabytes. 300 gigabytes is absolutely huge. So there's a massive amount of information that they're not releasing. And I think Trump's been a hoist with his own petard, because he just kept going on and on and on about it. And it's a cover-up, and it's the evil Democrats, and it's Hillary who's... she's organising a slave trading racket from the basement of a pizza parlour, and all of this stuff that he was just getting his fans so excited about. And now he's in a position to actually come through with what he was saying and actually show them the proof of what he was telling them exists. And now he's not doing it. So yeah, they're really upset, and they're trying to. And the problem is, his fans have joined a cult. That's the big problem. They don't worship him as a human being. They worship him as a god. And they have faith in him. Now, imagine trying to talk somebody out of their religious conviction. It's that hard. You can't do it. They will do all sorts of things to try to make information that doesn't fit squeeze into the square that they wanted it to go in. And so it'll be, I've got no idea where MAGA are at about this now. I mean, I know that they wanted to see names, and they're not going to be able to do that. And again, even if he does release this list, it's not a list of people who have necessarily done wrongdoing. It's just a list of people who have ridden on his plane, or he's got their phone number. And, rich people have rich people's phone numbers. Doesn't mean to say they were in orgies with each other. But anyway, thanks a lot, James. What's the weather like in Majorca, by the way?
Hot and sticky.
Right. Okay.
Nick,
hot and sticky. Yes.
Can I riposte?
Riposte.
Are you still there?
Riposte.
Yeah.
Don't like the sound of that. What do you want to riposte about?
Well, No, I'm agreeing with everything about you said about the list, whether it exists or not, in the MAGA movement. But the thing is this: the list is his base have stuck with him through thick and thin. Now, either he's on the list, and there's something on the list which basically is a hill for him to die on.
Yes, this isn't a riposte. This is repetition, James. It's not a riposte. It's repetition.
No,
You're just saying the same
but,
thing again. Yes, you are. But anyway, good work. Thanks a lot, mate. Keep your eyes peeled. Don't let them tell you that something that doesn't exist exists, or the other way around. 0345 6060 973. Hot and sticky. Can you imagine that? And one day after the heat wave, during which we were thinking, oh, gosh, it's hot, we were thinking.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
About the heat. And now it's gone away and it's been raining all day. We think, oh, God, it was really nice when it was warm. Never satisfied.
Stop whining.
0345 6060 973. Tina in Ebervale says, do you know the origin of the saying throwing the baby out with the bathwater? In the Victorian era, a family would use the same water to bathe of the father first, and then the mother, and then the children, and then the baby last. Apparently by then the water was like mud, and the babies did get thrown out by mistake. They got thrown out by mistake. I seriously doubt that. And this says, it truly baffles me that people can believe 16 is old enough to have sex and therefore old enough to be a parent, old enough to join the army and die for the country, but they don't believe they're old enough to vote. Ludicrous. Well, one Tory came out, I think it was either today or yesterday. I've been kind of overwhelmed with some of the stories. And I'll come to that. I have detailed files. Don't you worry about that.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
And I like him. He's a good man. He is not a racist. I can tell you that. He's a good person.
He likes me even though I'm not a racist. Thanks, Donny. You're the best. You're the best, worst person currently alive. Omar in Manchester says, both the voting age lowered to 16... Does that mean the Green Party may actually have a chance? The Greenies.
Yowza.
Yeah, maybe. Di says, I've just finished my delicious chips that I cooked in my air fryer, and the secret is oil. You need to spray or coat the chips in a generous amount of oil before they go in the air fryer or oven, and then they will taste nice and be crispy. I thought that you weren't allowed to put a lot of oil on stuff that goes in an air fryer, lest it explode. So we're going to be careful with that, Di. My air fryer is rubbish. Now, I didn't get a cheap one. I bought the most expensive that the shop had because I wanted to ensure that it would be, a fit for purpose. Hang on. And it wasn't. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
It is impossible to make good chips in that device. It just can't be done. Max says it's not true that voting is mandatory in Australia. You have to register and turn up at a voting station, but you are entitled to leave your ballot blank. Yeah, but what would you want to do that for? That is probably correct. You don't have to vote, but you've got to go. But once you're there, you might as well. You might not love one of the options, but there's always a least bad one, surely. That should be the law in this country. Why isn't it? Colnbrook. Nick.
Hi, Nick. I was listening to your presenter that's on After You last night, and somebody phoned in with a bit of information which I thought was amazing. If you can be bothered, as you have this wonderful talent of describing what £1 billion in £10 notes looks like, and it always fascinated me when you tell me a house full of this or reaches the sky or something.
Yeah.
Now try this one. Ask Gemini or one of the other ones how much money the Conservative Party in the last 14 years wasted.
Is it threepence halfpenny?
Oh, yeah, just add about $1 billion and trillion noughts and more. It is just unbelievable figure.
But what do you mean by wasted?
That's what they describe it. Things like they're planning for the House of Commons to be repaired.
Oh, the Palace of Westminster. Well, that's not necessarily... you can't really call that the Tories' fault. That's the fault of the people who are the custodians of the Palace of Westminster.
Or the PPE wasted.
Well, yeah, that. Yeah.
Many other items come up when you ask Gemini about that.
Yeah, well, Bodger Johnson managed to waste £50 million on a bridge that never got built.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
How the hell do you manage that?
They do mention that one, actually, and a few more of his. You're way over 100 billion.
£100 billion.
Billion.
Yeah, no wonder we ain't got no money.
Yeah, exactly. But if you like to get people to have a check on that on Gemini and ask the question, you'll be amazed.
All right, okay, good work. Thanks a lot, Nick. Kenny says, leave the kids alone. Don't teach them about incompetent or corrupt politicians. Let them have a childhood first. At 16 and 17, I think they've had a childhood. They're in adulthood now. They've got to go down to pit. This says, what age do people pay taxes on their income? That's at age 16. Taxation without representation? No thanks. Give the kids a vote, says that texter. All of these people are messaging me anonymously. I mean, if you don't want to give me your name, just give me a name. Just make one up. It says, good evening, Nick. Can I suggest the man, woman, person camera test for the over 70s? That's a good idea. The Dump recently challenged AOC and Jasmine Crockett to take the test that he had aced very easily.
And it was 30 or 35 questions. The first questions are very easy. The last questions are much more difficult. Like a memory question, it's like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV. So they say, could you repeat that? So I said, yeah. So it's woman, camera, TV. Okay, that's very good. If you get it in order, you get extra points. Okay, now he's asking you other questions, and then 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes later, they say, remember the first question? Not the first, but the 10th question? Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go, woman, man, person, man, camera, TV. If you get it in order, you get extra points. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy. And that's not an easy question. In other words, they ask it to you, they give you 5 names and you have to repeat them, and that's okay. If you repeat them out of order, it's okay, but you know, it's not as good. But then when you go back about 20, 25 minutes later and they say, go back to that question, they don't tell you this, go back to that question and repeat them. Can you do it? And you go, camera, man, person, woman, TV. They say, that's amazing. How did you do that? I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
He's cognitively there. You're an idiot, Donny.
Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way.
Ash texts, if that note was real, that's the note that Donald Trump was alleged to have signed, that his big boy squiggle down by her, her area.
Disgusting.
If that note was real, then does Murdoch even have to fight to win against Trump? If the Department of Justice found the note, then doesn't that add credence to its credibility? Credence to its credibility? Speaking from a place of complete ignorance, says Ash. Well, as far as I know, if you're suing for defamation, you've got to A, prove that what they said was wrong, and B, prove that they said it with malice. I think that Donald Trump, I think he's overplayed his cards. We have all the cards, said a man who failed at running a casino. Because he's suing Rupert Murdoch for $10 billion. That is imagine $1 million, and then multiply that by 10,000 times. $10 billion. That's what he's suing Rupert Murdoch for. Now, I think that's too much. I mean, it's an amount that you think would irk somebody of Rupert Murdoch's stature. And I don't believe, I may have this wrong, but I don't think that there are any deals in the offing that have to get presidential approval as far as Rupert Murdoch's various organisations are concerned. So I don't think that he needs anything from Trump, but Trump certainly does need something from Rupert Murdoch, because his fans all watch Fox News. It's where they get their information from. You know, his 70-year-old fans don't scroll the internet all day. They're not on TikTok doing the robot dance. That's not them. They watch Fox News for 24 hours a day, and they just get all of the brain cells reorganised into the way that Rupert Murdoch wants. And by that method, they vote for the Tangerine Scream.
Oh, shut up!
Twice. So if Rupert Murdoch reprograms his TV station to start attacking Donald Trump, then it's going to go directly to the heart of Donald Trump's fan base. And they won't know what to think. Well, initially, they will be somewhat confused, I would imagine. But then they'll start to think exactly what Rupert Murdoch wants them to think. I mean, that's the beauty of being a media magnate. You can get millions of people to all think the way that you want them to. I mean, that's his entire career, isn't it? So I think he's picked on the wrong person, Donald Trump. I mean, he wanted to make this all go away, which is understandable. I mean, if you have that many pictures taken with a man who is that notorious, then you'd want your fans to stop talking about it, and then you could just, you know, do his usual thing. It's all radical Democrats and communists and fascists. They're being very mean, all of that. But you can't really do that to a person who has such a huge megaphone and a vast amount of money. I mean, when two billionaires clash, then it doesn't really matter how many more billions one has over the other. They got plenty enough money to fight each other to a standstill from now until the rest of time. But even Elon Musk, with all of the extra riches at his disposal, even he is not a more serious foe than Rupert Murdoch to Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump can write his crazy screeds on his Truth Social website, but no one's listening to that. Nobody's on that website. It's a dud. I mean, as far as, you know, the really big social media companies are concerned, it's not as big as Twitter, and it's not as big as Facebook or any of the other ways in which his fans would get their information. And it's certainly not as big as Fox News, which is the propaganda arm of the White House up until now. And I just wonder what's going to happen. I mean, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, and I can't believe I think this way now, but I'm rooting for Rupert Murdoch. Oh, my God, I've said it out loud. I mean, in a fight between the two of them, I want Rupert Murdoch to win. I mean, is it possible that Rupert Murdoch could save the world?
Yes.
Maybe. Perhaps. Now, if Donald Trump had sued him for $10 million, then that would have been one thing. But he hasn't. He's sued him for $10 billion, which is something else entirely. I mean, that's an amount that would shut down Murdoch's empire, I would guess. I mean, he managed to pay the £1 billion fine for misinformation about the voting machines that Fox News was spewing out. Totally rigged. And that cost him $1 billion, but, you know, that's just neither here nor there. But $10 billion, now we're talking about big money. And that would hurt. So I think that Trump is actually, I don't know, maybe he's just believing his own publicity. That and his experience up to this point of coming up against newspaper magnates is that the newspaper magnates will fold immediately, instantly, and with no complaint or putting up any kind of resistance. They'll just fall to the floor. And quite a few of them have done that. And quite a few of them have been run by billionaires. But none's as influential, particularly to Trump's base, than Rupert Murdoch. I think he's picked the one person on earth, maybe with the exception of Vladimir Putin, that he can't win against. How marvellous. I'm actually genuinely excited at the prospect.
Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
He thinks he looks good in a bathing suit. He doesn't.
Rude. Leicester. Hello, Cameron.
All right, Nick. How you doing?
Yes, good, thanks.
Yes, I'm just calling, long-time listener, first-time caller. I thought I'd call. I've finished watching season 5 of The Sopranos, and I know you're a big fan of that. And,
yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Who isn't?
I've been shocked, to be fair, Nick. There's a couple of squeamish scenes at the end of that, and I thought that I was so shaken I thought I'd call you.
There was a couple of what at the end of that?
Couple of squeamish scenes.
Squeamish scenes.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. A couple of the scenes where you were kind of hoping that what happened didn't happen.
Right. Yes, that's right. Some of it is quite alarming. Yeah.
It was alarming. Yes.
And the first time around, when you watch The Sopranos, you are kind of on the edge of your seat because it will go along for a while, but you pretty much know that in every episode something unsettling is going to happen, and it'll just come out of nowhere. But once you've seen the entire thing once, or in my case 3 or 4 times, then you can relax into it because you know what's coming and you can just enjoy the comedy because it's actually a comedy.
Yeah, I get that a little bit, but to be fair, obviously this is the first time I watched it. This is still my I'm still at that sort of edge of my seat kind of scared moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I was that sort of prompted me to ring you. I won't lie, I've had a few beverages, so I thought I was,
Well, whatever you do, Cameron, don't talk to anybody about how it all ends.
No, I won't do.
You will not want any spoilers.
That is the last. I've done there's a no Googling policy when it comes to it. So I'm not looking at that.
But it is brilliant. For me, it's the best ending to any TV show ever.
Oh, you see, I've heard mixed reviews about that, to be fair. So
don't listen to anybody who says otherwise.
Okay, got you. I was just going to. First of all, I heard you talking about Trump and his uncle in MIT, who he taught for Unabomber.
Yeah.
And if you want a good show, there is, and it's Ted Kaczynski is the name, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that sounds right.
That's it. So Ted Kaczynski, and there's a good show, I think it's called Manhunt or something like that. The fellow who plays him is the fellow who plays the robot in Vision. There's a robot Vision in the Avengers. And he also played the blonde albino fellow in Da Vinci Code, who likes to...
I haven't seen either of those two things, but Manhunter, that was the original...
Brian Cox, Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, the Hannibal Lecter, the original. That was on TV just the other day. That was Michael Mann, who directed Miami Vice and Heat and good stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't know if it's Manhunter or something like that. It's a name similar to that, but it's definitely worth a watch with the fellow who plays. He's a good actor who plays
some kind of robot.
Affirmative.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of robot. Last thing I was going to ask you, a couple of 3 things. So last thing I was going to ask you, you've got Trump. Now I'm a youngish fellow. I'm only sort of 25 years old, and I'm trying to sort of. I don't know if this is are we living in a weird situation right now, Nick, where,
Are we living in a weird situation? Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say. Yeah, this is some bizarre timeline that we found ourselves on. Yeah, no doubt.
It is. Yeah, I just don't know. Have you ever experienced anything like this before in your life? Where,
no.
You're sort of looking at it's just such
no.
Because you look at these things. You look at Bill Clinton being a bit of a weirdo, and you look at sort of George Bush being funny.
Yeah, and Obama, of course. When things used to make sense.
Exactly, and that's it. And I just look, and I sort of, I'm reaching my 25th year on this earth, and I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, trust me, Cameron, it's not always like this.
Okay, thank you for the reassurance.
Okay, well, if you're lucky, we might all live through it, but you just don't know at this point. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, I mean, I've never experienced anything like this, and neither has anybody else. I mean, we've had dictators before and wannabe dictators, but nothing like this guy. I mean, nothing like. There's never been another person who starts every news bulletin. Every single news bulletin, day after day after day, it's President Trump said something stupid. President Trump just did some asinine thing. Every day. Every hour of every day. Something that President Trump just said. President Trump, President Trump, President Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. We just want President Trump. Those people. And he just seems to be... There's only two explanations, to my mind. One, he is completely unhinged, and nobody is... And so frightening that no one around him is prepared to tell him that the things that he's doing are stupid. Because some of the people that he's surrounded himself with do know that the things that he does and says are stupid, because he's surrounded himself with some business people who, by one method or other, have made a lot of money. So they know what a tariff is, for instance, and yet everyone is so frightened of him that they're not prepared to put him right or correct him or say, "No, Mr. President, dear God Almighty, that's not right." No one is. I mean, there were a few in the first time around when he was the president.
A president? Can you believe it?
No, we couldn't believe it then. We still doubly can't believe it now with cream on top. A few people told him, you can't do this and you can't do that, but no one is doing that now. Everyone is absolutely terrified of the guy, as though he is a mob boss.
Absolutely.
That's the way that they act around him. And he says some asinine things about tariffs and about we've got trade deficits with this or that kind. Bangladesh, I think, is one of the ones that he's furious at now. Bangladesh. America buys more products from Bangladesh than Bangladesh buys from America. Well, of course they blooming well do, because Bangladesh is where you get your cheap clothes from. Your cheap clothes and your cheap plastic crap and all of the other stuff that Americans hoover up in vast amounts. So they buy cheap stuff from Bangladesh, which is sorry about this, Bangladesh, no offence meant, but it's a dirt poor country, and that's where the world goes to have cheap stuff made because they don't earn very much. So they can't buy anything from America. They can't buy Teslas and iPhones and all the other stuff that America produces. They haven't got the money for that. It's insane that he's now punishing people who have got no money and telling them to buy more stuff from America. Or he's going to tariff their goods in America. He's going to make it more difficult for Americans to buy the goods that are made by Bangladeshis. He's going to make them more expensive, the cheap stuff. I mean, that's just totally unhinged. I mean, I know that a lot of people have explained this in, really simple terms that even a child could understand. But a trade deficit is not necessarily a bad thing. I have a trade deficit with my barber. I go and buy his services, and it costs me £17.
What?
For this. Plus a tip. Blimey. And you know what? He doesn't buy a single thing from me. So I have a 100% trade deficit with my barber. I buy everything that he offers, and he buys nothing from me. But that doesn't mean it's a bad relationship. I benefit and he benefits. Now, I know that this is not news to you, but it is apparently news to the world's most powerful human, who will not hear an explanation that disproves his fundamental belief in economics. It's absolutely amazing, and he's just wielding. It's just it's like the monster from the deep. He emerges from the deep and he starts bashing buildings. Well, he's bashing countries who had done absolutely nothing wrong at all. I mean, you could make a case for the EU having relied on American military and so on, but the American military wasn't stuffed with money by American governments in order to do us a favour. It was a vast transfer of wealth from the American poor to the industrial military complex. They weren't being nice. It was a way to make the people that make the bombs and the bullets richer. That's the reason that they spent more on defence than we did. And So you can make an argument for that, but there's countries like Japan. Japan hasn't got a trade deficit with America, but he's beaten them up anyway. He's almost like drunk with power. He's been given so much of it, and he delights in using it so very much. I mean, he punches down at every opportunity. He is probably the worst person that has ever lived, in my lifetime anyway, to have been given a position of power. And there he is, the world's most powerful human. Yeah, so it is some kind of bizarre timeline that we're living on here. And that he continues to get away with it. It's just absolutely infuriating. And by it, I mean everything. He gets away with everything, has done in his entire life. And once revered institutions fall at his feet now because he is using America as a weapon. And no one's telling him not to. And he delights in it evermore. There's that famous clip, and this is him nutshelled, that famous clip of him off mic saying, the North Koreans, they sit up straight when Kim Jong-un comes in and they say, yes, sir, I'll do this, and yes, sir, I'll do that. And that's what I want my people to do, said Donald Trump. And that's him. And here we are, in his world. God. I mean, it's not just the American dream is dead.
The American dream is dead.
It's not just the American one, no. But what can you do? Not a lot. You just sit here complaining about it.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
0345 6060 973. Come on, Rupert Murdoch. Put us out of our mystery.
On your radio, on the LBC app, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
And I can't stand him.
Yeah, I think that guy who was just on the news saying that Donald Trump's lawsuit isn't a surprise, either he didn't know what he was talking about or he just misspoke. Because Donald Trump didn't win lawsuits for $15 billion. He was paid $15 million. And I think the other one was $12 million. Not billion. And that's what he's suing Rupert Murdoch for. Billion with a B. It's 1,000 million times 10. Details, facts, very, very important on this show. 0345 6060 973. Tavistock, hello, Rose.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Where are you?
Where am I?
Yes.
Well, I'm just outside Tavistock.
Yeah, but where's the phone that you're using? Is it anywhere near you?
Well, I'm speaking into it, yes.
It sounds like you got your head in a bucket. Have you got your head in a bucket?
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, my God, it sounds... Oh, just a minute. I pressed the green light.
There you are.
Nick. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've never done that before.
Phones should come with operating instructions, shouldn't they?
Yes, I pressed the green light. I thought I might manage to get a cup of tea quickly.
Oh, right. I managed to.
Oh, did you? Listen, just before
tea.
I say what
I think that's a drink that might catch on.
Oh, God, isn't it just? Yeah.
It's wetter than coffee. I like coffee first thing in the day because it's like food. Coffee, you can virtually cut it into slices the way I have it. But after the bucket of coffee that I have first thing in the morning, it's got to be tea because tea is a wetter experience, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, coffee is quite drying, but tea lubricates the body.
Yeah. Before I launch in, could I just quickly say, because I was listening to what you were saying before the news, and, you know, this inexhaustible delight in sadistic power that he has.
Yes.
another danger is that he popularises it. And people copy it, and ordinary people copy. I just think that's a bit of a danger. You see this and you think, yeah, that's exciting. Let's do it of that.
Yes. Well, I'm absolutely sure that America, which is already a fairly murderous place, is going to become even more so, because his fans are going to get more and more irate, and they're going to take it out on the people that he has instructed them to, or that he has persuaded them are the cause of their discontent.
My God, yes. Anyway, look, I phoned through because it was rather a long time ago now, but in your preamble you referred to the discoveries about what the water companies are doing. And I've been thinking about this a lot, because for years we've been seeing kingfishers. I mean, not masses of them, but, regularly you'd see a flash of turquoise,
really?
And there he would be.
I've never seen a kingfisher.
Oh, well, you probably never will now.
I mean, yeah, that's right. That must be quite a sight.
Oh, yes. I mean, wow. Because, our birds are not desperately bright. A lot of them are not desperately bright. Although, having said that, I can now immediately imagine a whole load are.
Well,
but,
yeah,
I mean, that sort of fluorescent turquoise,
yes, that is really eye-catching, I bet.
Past.
Yeah. I mean, we've got robins and we've got those goldfinches. They're quite a riot, aren't they?
Bullfinches, yeah.
Yeah.
But, on the canal and on the river, which we've got here, and this entire year, Nick, I mean, I have not seen one since last year.
Really?
And, you just think, my God, they blithely kill all our watery ecosystems, and that's not a crime. And, I mean, basically what their job is, Nick, their job is to ask us for money and receive it. End of. That's their entire flipping job.
Well, they don't
do anything else.
Well, there is a third thing they do. They take our money and they shower themselves with it.
Yes, that's very true. Yes. Oh God. Can I mention Jeff in Merthyr Tydfil? I didn't tell your lady about this, but it's only a little thing.
Yeah.
Well, bless his heart. I was upset about the swallows not coming to where their usual nesting site. And he said he sought to cheer me up by telling me about his swifts. And I thought, Nick, well, I'm not at the Goose and Cuckoo. It's not an awful lot of use to me, is it?
Well, you'll be able to tell him that personally. Go ahead. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Rose. How are you?
Hello, darling. I like your calls.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. We've also got sand martins. We also got sand martins, swallows, and house martins.
I don't want to hear about your birds, Jeff, because it upsets me. I want my birds, and I haven't got them.
Even in West Devon, I would have thought that West Devon would be a centre of flora and fauna.
It's less and less every year.
Right.
It's driving me mad. I mean, I went on a particular place I go to. Silence. Hardly ever saw a thing.
Really?
And as I say, the swallows haven't come, and we have got house martins, but even them not as many as before.
Yeah. Well, I would, in the absence of any other information, I'd blame the water companies.
Well,
I mean, if you're going
to
pour sewage into our water courses, then animals who have the option to go somewhere else will do just that.
Yes.
Can I just say, Rose,
yes,
that it's been a fabulously wonderful year, and they have successfully nested, and the place is full of them now.
What?
They're probably doing a second nest as well.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Jeff?
All of them. Swifts, swallows, house martins,
cuckoos.
You're trying to hurt me, aren't you? What's the matter with a man?
Jeff, why are you being so mean to Rose?
I'm sorry, Rose. If it is upsetting you, but there you go.
Do you know, you get this all the time. Things like, I think it was last year, there were two skylarks singing away above us, and you know when you pass somebody on the moor, you sort of say hello, don't you? I said, "Oh, lovely skylark." "Oh," they said, "you should go to Wiltshire. You'll be in Wiltshire and you'll hear 10 of them at the same time." So I walked on thinking I've got one measly skylark.
Yeah.
So it ruined my day.
It's the same kind of thing that you get on the weather. Like ordinarily on the weather, when we're not in a year where it's fantastic, the weatherman will say, "All woman, sexist," or say something like, "And the best sunshine will be over in Devon, so that's where you want to go if you want some sunshine today." As though people have the option of doing that. You're just going to drop everything and go and get some sunshine for a couple of hours in Devon, for crying out loud. Do you have any idea how far away that is, Rose?
Well, yes, I have been to London.
Anyway, it's been a delight. Thanks a lot, Rose.
Cheerio, mate.
Okay, ta-ra. Now, Jeff, your turn.
Okay, I was going to phone you. Do you remember, Nick, the furor of the 20-mile-an-hour job in Wales?
Oh, well, there still is a furor. They're still going on and on and on about it.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Nothing like it was. Nothing like it was.
Really?
And mentioned in the Goose and Google, I don't think anybody talks about it anymore.
Really?
It's like history. Yeah.
But do they actually obey it or just ignore it?
Well, no, that's another thing.
Right.
But it's not a topic of furor. Okay.
Yeah, they've moved on to something else.
Yeah. Well, they attempted, just like the 16-year-olds, that's been accepted. Nobody talks about that anymore.
Right, yes, that's right. Because in Wales and Scotland, 16, 17-year-olds vote for local elections, yeah.
We don't discuss it. It's not a topic of conversation in the Goose and Cuckoo.
Right.
But now they attempted to get another, the Conservatives, right-wing, whatever, the Farage and his outfit, what they're saying is that a tourist tax, you come and stay in Wales, you pay. There's a projected to be a small tax, just like they do everywhere in Europe.
Yes,
which is so. As a little bit of an exercise, I just went round everybody in the Goose. And ask them, because you can always tell English people, they got that arrogance about them, and I asked them, would you object? Would you object? No,
That's not true. That's not true. Anyway, go on.
Would you object if I, to a tourist tax? Not one of them would object. They could see it. It's another furor. Just like the Daily Mail is cooking it up for 16-year-olds voting. Yeah. You've got these as far as I know, you become an influencer.
No, I'm not an influencer. Stop saying that. But when I was in Wales last, people were talking about this, the possibility of a tourist tax on overnight stays in Wales, which is such a good idea because it's not going to stop anybody going to Wales. It just won't. Any more than a tourist tax is going to stop anybody from going to Venice. You've made up your mind. That's where you're going, and that's the end of it. And it doesn't really matter if your hotel is £50 a night or £51 a night. I mean, that's kind of the level that we're talking about, isn't it? It's £1 a night or £5 a night or some insignificant amount like that, right?
But it would be spent on making the place tidy and increased facilities, toilets, etc.
For us arrogant English to enjoy. Yeah.
I'm still bewildered at you firing your salt gun at your knickknacks. I'm still.
Well, I haven't got one, but my concern is that I would miss the fly and break something that I like.
And we're all agreed, every single listener you got, that Trump is a cult. Okay?
A cult.
That's it.
Yes, that's what he said. It's cult.
Yeah, and
yes.
Farage.
And Farage too.
What?
Yeah.
The last thing that guy said, he wants to reopen the coal mines to fire up the new furnaces in Port Talbot.
Yeah. Well, it's idiotic on so many levels. I barely know where to begin. You can't restart a steel furnace. It's impossible. It cannot be done. You've got to start from scratch and build a new one. And as for coal, I mean, what kind of an idiotic asinine thing is that to say? I mean, I know that they want to, they sort of yearn for a return to some imagined idyll, but coal mining is surely not part of any imagined idyll, is it? God. All right, good to talk to you, Jeff. Thanks for that.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Right, so what are we doing?
Given we are doing a radio show, but that is a timely reminder that I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now, the idea is that it's a problem-solving podcast. Now, if you have a problem or an issue, a conundrum, something you'd always wondered about, then simply leave it in the hands of the unprofessionals and send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com, nickandcarol@global.com, and prepare to be totally satisfied.
Oh, right, yeah.
Ask for it by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? Bath. Hello, Laura.
Hello, Nick.
Laura.
The little matchmaker getting Jeff and Rose together. They're going to be on a date at the Goose and Cuckoo soon, aren't they?
Don't lapse into a Welsh accent. People will get very upset.
Was that a Welsh accent? I'm going to add that to my CV now, you know.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't bother.
Hey, a bit of advice. Don't fire a salt gun at your knickknacks, because that's going to affect your fertility, surely. I mean, I just would avoid it at all costs.
Right. These are the jokes, folks. Mm-hmm.
Just a little comment on Swifts. They're really lovely, and I'm glad that your listeners are having a blast seeing them and everything, but to look after them, because in a wildlife hospital where I was working there recently, they're a nightmare. They're difficult. They almost like, if you're trying to feed them stuff, they basically they go on a hunger strike. They refuse to eat anything from you.
Really? Now, are swifts those sort of... it's about twice as big as a robin, and they have like a dark, almost oily-like feathers. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a pond in Hyde Park that I go and there's a bar there. It's an excellent spot for lazing away the day, and there's clouds of these birds, and I put a picture on the internet. I'm never having seen them before. Up close, anyway, and I said, "What's this?" And so many people go, "It's a swift, you moron! Don't you know anything?" You know, people just being helpful. And
they look like a boomerang.
A boomerang?
Yeah.
No.
Do you need to Google what they look like as well? Because they look like a swift.
Yeah, I know what a boomerang looks like. It don't look like no boomerang. It does. It's got black, kind of, sort of a black, greeny, mottled, oily feathers, and they're quite aggressive. So I can understand why they would be a bit difficult, because they're little dinosaurs, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very finicky customers. But in more positive bird news, you won't believe what's happened. This is incredible news.
Well, before you tell me that, I would have to say that they don't seem to be very picky around people who are trying to eat their sandwiches, because they virtually snap them right out of your hand. So maybe you're not doing it right.
Oh, okay, so maybe what I should do, instead of trying to feed them, is trying to feed myself next to them, and then they'll swoop in and get it. Yeah. I feel like a swoop would be a better name for them, because that's what the kind of action they do. They sort of swoop in and out, don't they? They drive my dog mental, because they almost bait him by going close to the ground.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, and then he's like, "I'm going to finally catch a bird," and he never will.
Never will. No, what kind of dog is this?
He's a Cavapoo.
I'm sorry, a what now?
You know, Cavalier King Charles Spaniel crossed with a poodle.
Right.
But he's trying, bless him. You'd love him. He's called Jim. He's brilliant.
Okay.
But this amazing news: pigeons can detect breast cancer with an astonishing amount of accuracy. They trained them they did a study where they showed them the pictures of breast cancer, like the microscopic ones, and they were able to distinguish between benign and malignant with something like the collective accuracy.
And how did they pass?
Like 99%.
How did they pass that information on, pigeons?
Basically, they put them in front of they gave them like these little mini cinema theatres, like they're in a box with a TV, and then basically they train them to press the button if it's malignant, and if they get it right, they get a cracker or something. And it's like, you train for years to become a pathologist, and then a pigeon does it overnight.
Right.
So I was going to say a pigeon does it like that, but you probably can't hear me click. I just clicked then. But isn't that amazing?
Well,
I thought you'd be interested in that.
It is a very interesting development. I had not heard about such a thing. So it can poop on your car and detect breast cancer at the same time. It's multitasking.
Well, I know Rose will agree with me on this. Pigeons don't get enough credit, honestly. They're incredible animals. Final thing before I go, I wanted to ask, based on the Goose and Cuckoo, what would you name a pub if you were going to start one?
Oh, you can't just blindside me with something like that. I'll have to think about it. Give me a while.
We can get back to me, won't you?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll get back to you, Laura. Yeah, stay by your phone. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. Oh, no, I'm a bit lost. Have I taken a break yet? Have I taken the break yet? You can speak. No, just speak into the microphone. Just say a word. Say yes or no. No, your microphone is on. Just say something. Never mind. Never mind. I'll work it out myself. 1, 2. No, I have not missed a break. Everything is just fine over here. A look of panic. Limerick, Vincent.
Good evening. Nice to be with you, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're on track, but you've got some very strange birds over there.
Yes, no doubt.
All these kingfishers, I can imagine, perhaps they've been kidnapped and have all ended up in Mar-a-Lago. I'm sure the resident will be boasting about he's got the greatest collection of kingfishers anywhere.
Well, he would like them just because they're called king something. Yeah.
I keep on thinking, every time we have discussions trying to analyse the psyche of the Orange Wonder and the White House, I keep on, as a movie buff myself, I keep on thinking of two characters that just keep on popping into mind. One is Dr. Peter Sellers' great Dr. Strangelove.
Yes.
From Stanley Kubrick's film. And his sort of right arm that keeps on, that he can't quite control.
Well, that was a bit more Elon Musk-ish to me.
Well, and also, of course, that other great character Peter Sellers played, Chance the Gardener, in Being There.
Well, yeah, that's more him, yeah.
He's probably a little bit more dangerous than Chance the Gardener.
Oh, way more, yeah. People ascribe his various idiotic outbursts as being the work of a genius. Yeah, that's the Peter Sellers character. And, coincidentally, is Donald Trump.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah. All right, well spotted. Thanks a lot, Vincent. 0345 6060 973. Paul in Sale says, good evening, Nick. So those poor people at Coldplay were found to have behaved in such a way on a large TV screen that they lost their jobs. Bodge hid in a fridge and he managed to keep his at the time. Ain't that right, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
Can't comment on that. Blah, blah. I bet you've forgotten about his existence. Well, how about this guy?
This government.
You've forgotten about him as well, haven't you? I bet you haven't forgotten about her.
Absolutely.
Not. Oh, there's some... I must get to a lot of things because I haven't talked about anything yet. This show's almost half over. I haven't talked about a single blooming thing. Sam says, given Donny's antics at the World Cup, I think you can add to your Trump bingo card that he will try to get on the podium to get his grubby mitts on the trophy at next year's main World Cup in America. He took somebody's medal, didn't he? And he took pride of position in the group photo at the end where they hoist that silly trophy in the air. He's going to be all over it. But people are going to be booing him a lot. I bet he doesn't show up. He'll probably show up for maybe the first one and leave straight away. But I bet that experience will teach him a lesson. I bet he gets booed a lot. It's going to come as a surprise to him because, he surrounds himself with people who do nothing but cheer. Oh, well done, Mr. President. At every single thing that he does. And make excuses for him and tell him how wonderful and marvellous and handsome and muscular he is. Melania, your husband is wonderful and handsome and muscular.
I don't care.
She's actually not that bothered. Couldn't care less. But yeah, what is going to happen at the World Cup in America? And there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to be allowed to go. And I wonder if any of them are going to be the players. They've said very mean things. Because they're going to be looking through their phones, because that's what the Americans do now. They're going to check your phone when you come in to see if you've been very mean about the dear leader. And if you have, then you're on the next plane out. Or not necessarily the next plane, but after an overnight stay in a penitentiary, then you'll be on the next plane out. And there'll be, an intimate body search, no doubt.
Disgusting.
And everything they can do to make your life as miserable as possible in the time that they've got with you. But there's going to be so much of that. But, when they gave it to him in the first place, they didn't realise that was what was going to be in effect when it actually took place. But everything could change. Everything could change. At the moment, it very much depends on one man. Rupert Murdoch. What's he going to do? Is he going to do what they did at the Washington Post? Is he going to do what they did at the New York Post? Is he going to do what they did at the Harvard University? Is he going to do what they did at Columbia University? Is he going to do what they did at CBS and all of the rest of those organizations? They're just prostrating themselves in front of him, begging for favors, which he isn't inclined to give out, unless you keep telling him how wonderful and marvelous and handsome and muscular he is. What a world, eh? What a way to run a planet.
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. Tooting. Hello, Jan.
Hi, good evening, Nick.
Yes, Jan.
Yeah, I have a few points to make about Trump, adding to what you were saying, but I just feel that he'll start to unravel. His position will unravel for a few points. Like he could go the way of Biden. I know he's just 79, but he could go the way of Biden, don't they? They say he's already having.
How will we tell the difference if he starts to unravel? It can be more unraveled than this.
No, mental acuity. I mean, he's got senior moments. He's got some serious medical issues that can lead to
death.
That deal with his flow of blood to his heart.
Uh-huh.
And then there's
if indeed he does actually have that organ installed.
And as well as his from his base, his fan base, they do actually want to know a bit. Some of them, it started to crack at the seams a bit because they want to know a bit more.
They want to know everything about Epstein because that's what they were promised. They were promised names. They were promised the names of the people that they hate, and now they've drawn a veil over the entire thing and kidded on that after all of that promising that no such list actually exists. Who are they kidding?
But Nick, I wanted to make a point that I thought you mentioned about his grandfather and how it's come up in his sort of MAGA pioneering spirit rhetoric. That he's drawn on this grandfather of his being a genius. Because he's what you remember, we all know that he said, well, we don't all know, but I know you know, that he rated his Art of the Deal as his second most favourite and important book after the Bible. After the Bible,
which I doubt he's ever opened. I mean, I know he's held it in his hands, because there was that photo opportunity in front of that church. But didn't he when he was swearing in last time around, didn't he not touch the Bible? Didn't he hover his hand above it? Lest, I would imagine, the Bible burst into flames.
But his own Bible that he had printed, that God intervened and saved him. But Nick, it's just that this business about his Art of the Deal. He did it. You see, he's actually. he did this act this week. And they called it the Genius Act. And that's that, and he's introduced it. It's to do with the cryptocurrency, and he's got this bill, and it's been dubbed the Genius Bill. Yeah, and I thought that must be after the myth making and rhetoric around this his grandfather.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it's a genius way to make a ton of money if you happen to have the job that he does. Jan, I'm past the break, so I've got to go, but thanks for that.
Leading Britain's conversation, Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
You're joking.
0345 6060 973. Somerset. Hello, John.
Hello, Nick.
John.
I'm feeling very business-like, so straight to business.
Yes.
Have you ever seen Mona Lisa with Bob Hoskins?
No. I don't think I...
It's a really good film. Michael Caine's in it as well.
Is that the woman who isn't a woman, or a man who isn't a man? I can't remember.
No, I think you're thinking of... I don't know what you're thinking of. But anyway, Bob Hoskins has got out of prison. He's been a bit of a gangster.
Yeah.
And he goes around with a white rabbit.
No, I have definitely not seen that, no.
Yeah, he takes a white rabbit to the guy that he used to work for. I don't know why, but it's like symbolic. It's something to do with...
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you ever watch EastEnders.
No.
I don't either. But you know when they do the do.
Yes, that's when I switch off immediately.
I switch off. I don't watch it. But I think that people might be in for a surprise, because when Trump's over here, it wouldn't surprise me if he's on EastEnders. Because they'll do the do, and a car will pull up in Albert Square.
Yeah.
Trump will get out, stroking a white rabbit.
And then it will all make sense.
And it will all make sense.
Right.
Maybe I dreamt it.
Yes.
It sounds like they've been doing disco biscuits down at the Goose and Cuckoo this evening.
If you say so, John, I guess you're an expert in that regard. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't insist on some sort of special treatment. I mean, he won't be able to talk to Parliament because Parliament won't be sitting when he arrives, which is probably why they have organised him to arrive at that particular moment. I wonder if he knows that yet. Eric says, in America, only children, drunks, hobbyists ride bikes. It's why we're all fat. Well, is that true? I mean, the distances are so very great in America that it's not really a place to ride a bike. Unless you're in, I guess, New York. Would people ride a bike? Would you be daft enough to ride a bicycle in New York? But, people are daft enough to ride a bicycle in London. And I wouldn't say that was particularly safe, but probably safer than New York. Alex in Norwich says, I went canoeing today in the River Yare in Norwich. After stopping for refreshments along the way, I capsized my canoe and went for an impromptu swim. Give it to me straight, Nick. How long have I got? Alex, I'm surprised you lived long enough to write that text. I would take yourself to accident and emergency immediately. Oh, there was a pretty good editorial about the water companies in the Independent. I might get to that in a minute, but first of all, I have to take some of these calls because these people have been waiting at dog's age. Aylesford. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Nick.
Tony.
Laura said something. Well, hello and welcome to the Nick Abbott matchmaking show.
Yes.
Hello. I was listening. I was thinking, I want a bit of that. And I was thinking, well, I'm free and single, ready to mingle, ladies and gents. So if you get in touch, I can't do the dating act. From past experience, it always ends in disaster and I always have a row with them. Because I talk too much, apparently.
Right, okay, that was going to be my question. Is it your fault or their fault?
Well, no, because the thing is, I don't like to just rush into it. I like to sit down, have a custard cream and a cup of tea. If they're all a bit too like that, it puts me off. I haven't got time for it. Like, it's always questions. I just don't have good experience with them, to be honest. So, I just thought I'd say that.
Okay.
Anyway, I digress. Yes, I want to talk about Nigel Farage, but you mentioned something about Trump. I think he is completely unhinged, because I used to think that Putin was really unhinged, but he's not. Don't get me wrong, he's a psychopath and a nasty piece of work. Yeah. But the thing is, right, look at the Democrats. No one has said anything, for example, Biden and Kamala Harris, because they're so petrified what he's going to do.
What do you mean by not say anything?
Well, they've not actually said anything, because I think all of them are just so worried, even like in his team with Donald Trump, they're so worried to say anything because he'd throw him in prison or whatever.
Yes, that might be in the back of their minds, and Trump is completely capable of doing something like that. But I think it's also, and we don't really live in a time where people, particularly Trump, respects convention, but it's not convention that an ex-president talks bad about the current one. I don't think any of them have done that.
No, except Donald Trump. Like, he didn't even go to the inauguration. Like, he's just a child, isn't he? And you know what? And then you mentioned something about the World Cup. Now, you've got all these people, all these teams from all over the world. Now, I'm just going to say about the football referees. Now, the best referee in the world, who is probably favourite next year for the World Cup final, believe it or not, is from Iran.
Uh-oh.
So, you know, I know. And they only referee in front of, like, really small stadia and stuff like that. So
now, why do you say that he's the best referee in the world if he's only refereed in small stadia?
Well, he's very experienced. I think he did that World Club Cup final or something like that, but they tend to come from like small nations, like in their normal leagues, they're refereeing like in front of like what I would do in like semi-professional standard, like hardly any people there. But
that's a bit weird, though. I mean, I would have thought that somebody like a referee would be nervous, just like a player.
Well,
so they would have had to have experience of a big crowd, surely. You want somebody from the Bundesliga or Premier League, somebody like that.
Yeah, but that doesn't really normally happen. Like, don't get me wrong, they're not just sent to the World Cup, but you know they have to do a lot of games and stuff like that to obviously get to that level. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of people, both players and backroom staff and referees, like you say, who would just be flat out refused entry into America, or maybe just because it would be too much international bad publicity, they'll just let everybody in for that brief moment and then go back to, the performative cruelty. Yeah, well, it'd be sod's law, because England, when the World Cup draw, we'll be drawn against America, because USA, like that always happens, and we'll be favourites. We'll probably just scrape through. We'll draw against them, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch. I'm very much looking forward to it. And we've got the Olympics as well. God, so much is happening.
Yeah.
So Nigel Farage. Now, do you not think it's quite extraordinary that the man who is responsible for destroying this country, I'm not going to say 100%.
Well, not destroying. He may have hampered our advancement, yes, and he ruined quite a lot of businesses and quite a lot of lives with all of those fantastical promises,
Yeah, but the thing is, and there's not a talk about, he's going to be next Prime Minister, but I can't see it, and I know you can't see it either. But the thing is, right, I'm sort of a bit hopeful, because obviously I've been a bit worried last few months. God, I just can't believe we're actually in this position. But I think that Labour should be putting out the message every single day. You know, that 3 words of slogan that Boris Johnson, get Brexit done. It needs to be put out there, reminding all these brain-dead voters in this country who obviously have suffered from amnesia. We need to keep drumming it in the head that he is responsible, or I think quite a lot responsible for what he did to his country with Brexit. And I just can't believe we're now in a position where people are going to forget all about that. And,
I think that people in this country have, just like those in America, joined a cult, and they forgive the dear leader anything. And he can tell them any thing that he's made up, or anything that is unlikely to happen, or any just flat-out lie, and it will be received as though it is the word of God. It's almost as though they're lost and will never come back. You have to forget about them.
Yeah, well, do you know what, right? There is some hope, because the thing is, right, with my family, most of them have always voted Conservative, not the last election, but, like, you know, I'm all for this 16 to 17-year-olds voting, because the thing is, right, I know I ring up. I've taken a big interest in politics, but I didn't start. My first vote was, I didn't vote in Brexit, you know, and I would have voted Leave, but my first time I voted was, well, I don't know, just nearly 30 when I voted for Jeremy Corbyn, even though I did like Theresa May, to be fair, but you know, but yeah, I didn't vote, but I think I think I'm all for it, and I have much more confidence in 16 and 17-year-olds voting than the majority of
and 60 and 70,
including me.
Yeah, 60 and 70-year-olds.
Yeah,
exactly.
And my nan's not here anymore, and a lot of them have passed away.
Right.
And I know that, yeah, I don't think that, but they were Tory. So I think it's a good thing, and yeah, I think it's a really good thing.
OK, all right, good work. Thanks a lot, Tony. 0345 6060 973. Of course, those on the right think it's a very, very bad thing, and they are hyperventilating. A senior Tory has warned that 16 and 17-year-olds should not be allowed to vote because it will distract them from their exams. Talk about desperate. Shadow Energy Secretary Claire Coutinho said that if the voting age is lowered, teenagers will face choosing between focusing on their studies or staying up to watch political debates.
What?
You believe that? You believe somebody actually said that out loud? I mean, is this what's become of the Conservative Party? It was better when it was the up all night having a party. Ain't that right, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
Shadow Energy Secretary Claire Coutinho said that elections are often in May, June and July, and warned that pupils do not need this added pressure of being dragged into politics. It's a vote. Almost no one in the land is consumed by the issues and stays up at night to watch the debates. What's she talking about? You know, the last time there was an election debate on the BBC in June last year, 3.2 million people could be bothered to watch some of it. When ITV had one the following week, 2.1 million saw some of it. There's 48 million people registered to vote in the UK. So 4% of over 18s watched the debates. And she's supposedly worried that 16 and 17-year-olds are going to lose sleep while watching them next time. Well, couple or three things. No, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't. And I know they won't because kids don't watch TV at all. And they absolutely and totally won't lose sleep watching some dreary political debate on the TV that they wouldn't watch, even if it's got Tom Cruise jumping off a cliff on a motorbike on it. They'll be too busy losing sleep watching some South Korean airbrushed band of singing haircuts or videos of panda bears falling over in the zoo. How do panda bears survive in the wild, by the way? they're such idiots. I mean, cute and all, but really, get it together, pandas. I mean, is it me or is this general freak-out from the right-wing parties and their supporting news outlets an indication that we really do need 16 and 17-year-olds to vote? Because the very idea seems to be annoying all of the right people. I mean, what exactly are they afraid of, apart from being consigned to the dustbin of history, along with their imagined idyll of a Britain that never existed outside of an Ealing comedy? The voting age is to be lowered to 16 in time for the next election, the government has announced, in a move that would allow 1.5 million more teenagers to cast a ballot. And, you know, last time round, fewer than half of 18 to 24-year-olds voted, compared to 3/4 of the over 65s. And I'm not so sure that the kids would vote Labour anyway. I mean, that's presumably what the Tories and Reform are so afraid of. I mean, the government's stand on rock bands and rap artists who say uncomfortable things might actually put the kids off voting Labour, don't you think? I mean, the idea that the young will be eager to vote for a party that's arresting people for holding a placard seems unlikely. So if that's Starmer's little scheme, he'd better come up with a more attractive policy for those who haven't been beaten into hating their fellow human beings by life's little disappointments. And besides, the change will bring UK-wide elections in line with Scotland and Wales by the time the country next goes to the polls, which is 2029 at the latest. And I think that Wales and Scotland seem to have done OK by it. I mean, life doesn't degrade the moment you cross the border from England. Those countries look pretty much the same to me, if a little bit more scenic. A little bit. I mean, the development is part of a raft of measures set to be introduced through the new elections bill. And, right enough, it's the biggest change to the electorate since 1969, when the voting age was lowered from 21 to 18, at which time all the same tired old arguments from the same tired old types, they were thrown up. Oh, they won't know anything. Oh, they won't be able to make an informed choice. They'll be too busy interfering with each other's clothing to vote.
Disgusting.
That's what people said. They might not vote how we older folk tell them to do, they said. And the same arguments were aired when there was the idea that women should get the vote. Oh, they won't be able to get their silly little heads around the complexities of life, the old geezers at the time said. They should stick to doing the cooking and the washing up and the tidying and the ironing. 16-year-olds already work, they pay taxes and they serve in the military. But Shadow Energy Secretary Conservative Claire Coutinho said, "Can you imagine saying, OK, I've got this right, it's a new right, I've got exam season coming up, but maybe I should stay up to watch this political debate." That's a direct quote. She said, maybe I should be out there. She's putting herself in the mind of a 16 and 17-year-old. She said, maybe I should be out there campaigning. Personally, I think 18 is the right age. I have no problem with politicians wanting to compete for younger votes, but I don't think you have a massive difference between 18 and 16. And like I say, most 16 and 17-year-olds are going to be in exam season, and I just don't think it's the right thing for them. She said, the thing I worry about is that I might be speaking as a new mum. The thing that I worry about, and I might be speaking as a new mum, is that it's exam season. Elections are often in May, June and July, and I really don't think 16 and 17-year-olds need this added pressure of being dragged into politics. What a silly Coutinho. They are being dragged into politics. Politics is what happens to you whether you're paying attention or not. I mean, I'd say this. Just look at the place. Look at this country. Do you consider this to have been a well-run country for the last, let's say, 15 years? Well, that is the result of not having 16 and 17-year-olds voting. That is the result of having mostly those over 50 deciding on the direction of the country. So maybe we should ban 60-year-olds from voting, not 16-year-olds.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Listen to him. He knows everything.
0345 6060 973. Let's have Birmingham. Hello, James.
Nick, you okay?
Yes, good, thanks.
Yes. So I'm diverted because originally I called up about the birds. I just got home from work and you were talking about the birds and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But you've just gone on to everything else since.
Well, we can talk about birds. That's okay. You don't have to follow on from the last thought.
It was the reason I called you, I guess. But, yeah, the birds, the closest thing to God, so you should feed them.
They're the closest thing to God?
Yes.
By what measure? You mean because they're in the sky?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I was taught. But
right.
As I got older, I realised that but they're not all the same. Like robins are really horrible things. Like
are they? Oh, they're very aggressive.
They will fight to the death.
They're very aggressive to other robins, but they're cute to us.
No, they're not. They follow us around because they think we're wild boars and that's what, like they say they're the gardener's best friend.
Mm.
They're not. All it is like the gardener's out there turning the earth over.
Yeah.
And they just think you're a wild boar, so they're like interested and they just follow you around. And
yeah, waiting for us to dig up a juicy morsel. Yeah, I know, but we find but they're not going to be a threat to us unless there's 100
not like
of
Trump,
them.
No.
Yeah, unless there's 100 of them and they all decide to attack at once.
Ooh, that'd be a scary thought.
Well, it would. I mean, at some point, I'm quite surprised that animals haven't figured that out yet, that we will not put up a fight. We will run away.
I think nature's already ahead of us, you know. It's just looking back at our stupidity and thinking, okay, you haven't figured it out yet.
I think there's some... Yeah, I think there's some animals that are just waiting for the right moment. I mean, I think seagulls... quite a way down that road. They're not frightened of us, and they will take our food out of our hands. Builder's language. Sorry about that. Gotta go. Thanks a lot, James. He expressed himself in earthy terms.
Disgusting.
Yeah. But once animals realise that when we come out of the big shop and we're laden down with bags, that there's just food in there, then I think we are in trouble momentarily. I mean, seagulls attack us, and our response to that is to protect them. I mean, that just seems mad to me. You're not allowed to do anything to a seagull, but they're allowed to actually draw blood from us. Nick our chips, for crying out loud. And our response is to protect them. I mean, that is not a very smart response from a species, is it? I mean, it's not like there's not very many of them. Blimey, they're everywhere. But once sort of foxes or something that... or a squirrel. I mean, if a squirrel came at you, you would run away flapping your arms, wouldn't you? You wouldn't put up a fight. You wouldn't take a squirrel down. You'd exit the area at top speed. Squirrels don't know that yet, but when they do, then we're in trouble. And briefly afterwards, once there were enough attacks, then we'd do something about it. We might not physically be a match for them, but, we'd go away and use our giant brains in order to come up with some punishment. That'll teach them. 0345 6060 973. Rochester. Hello, Lulu.
Hello, Nick.
Lulu.
You were talking about Claire Coutinho earlier.
Yeah.
And her views on voting age. I'm not going to listen to somebody who supported Dominic Cummings' drive to Barnard Castle to set a die site, which she did.
Did she?
And yes. And she's also a supporter of Lord Bamford.
Oh.
You know, the one who had Boris Johnson as a pet. Yes. So, ergo, her opinions are meaningless.
Right.
So forget that.
I think they're also meaningless because she is a representative of what used to be known as the Conservative Party. You remember the Conservative Party, don't you?
No.
Yeah, it used to be a thing for a while.
Yeah, it used to be a thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will cease to be a thing. Nick, have you seen Shifty by Adam and Curtis, his latest documentary?
Oh, no, I have not, but I'm a big fan of Adam Curtis. And
yeah, same.
The last one, I think there was a series, the last thing that he did, which was quite dense. It was a bit...
Is it about Russia?
You know what, I can't remember. So I gave up on it because it was a bit too complex and not really enjoyable to me. But so I didn't watch all of it, but I'm looking forward to seeing this new one.
Yeah, and it's really incredible how, and I've always known this, as you have, Thatcher is the root of everything that ails us today.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking about water. It's her fault.
Yeah, and he really makes that very stark. But it's great, because there's a lot of I'm being cut off now, aren't I?
Sorry, you are. But you've given me homework, and it's uniquely, it's homework I actually want to do.
Good.
All right, thanks a lot, Lulu. 0345 6060 973. Nick Abbott, LBC.
On your radio, on the LBC app, and...
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global. Leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Okie dokie.
I am not
one of your fans!
You know, I'll give this piece of, advice from me isn't worth the air that it hangs on, but a piece of advice to skier. You know, giving the vote to 16 and 17-year-olds, presumably in the hope that a large number of them will vote for you, is not going to work if you continue to arrest their grannies for holding up placards. You are not going to appeal to that demographic, and neither will you do so if you make public statements that this or that band or rap act should not be allowed to appear in public. I mean, talk about push me, pull you. You either are trying to appeal to them or not. Pick one. 0345 6060 973. York. Hello, Claire.
Hi. Oh, gosh, what a week.
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited, just like you, about the MAGA revolt against Trump, but I'm now very disappointed because it seems that these MAGA influencers are now taking it all back because of the Wall Street Journal. They're all, just like he did when he was arrested, and indicted before.
Yeah. I'm not sure that's true. I think that the reports of the MAGA faithful coming back into line have been somewhat overstated.
Well, I've seen clips of like Charlie Kirk and some of the other MAGA influencers, big who have been on their podcasts saying that all's forgiven now.
Yeah, right.
But whether that will translate to the vote, the MAGA...
I don't think so, because they've been waiting for this.
Right.
They've been waiting for this information for years now, because Trump has told them that it was there, that there is a thing, and I am the only person who will reveal all of this information to you. I've got names, and now they're... What thing? There is no thing. Whoever heard of such a notion? That's not going to wash with these people because they are desperate for some swamp draining. And if it looks like he's filling up the swamp, that ain't going to work with them at all.
I hope. Yeah, I think that, but I was just a bit disappointed to see the influencers. But I really do think that there is no way on God's earth that Murdoch would have allowed that to be published if there wasn't cast iron proof, because he was Trump was pleading for days before it was published with Murdoch to not publish it. So he told him days before it was published that he would sue Murdoch if he did. So for Murdoch to go ahead and do it, this was knowing that Trump was going to do that. He must really feel confident about. I do worry though that if Fox start putting their cannons towards Trump, whether they will lose. Murdoch will be worried about doing that because he will lose viewers, because they did after January the 6th and they came out against Trump.
That is true, but he was he was going against the flow. If the flow has started to change and some of Trump's cult fans are thinking again, then it would be easier to because if they get the feeling, if his cult fans get the feeling that they've been had, then it'll be easier to sort of pick at that, to say, he promised you this and now he's not delivering it. Why do you think that is? And they're already open and susceptible to conspiracy theories. So to give them another one, I mean, they'll just snap it up. So I think that Trump has picked the worst person in the world to pick a fight with.
And Trump tonight is posting again. He's pre-thinking what's going to happen, because he's now saying that no matter what I release now, that they're never going to be happy, because he knows that people are going to say, look, the court grand jury evidence is very tiny in comparison to what Trump could release right this minute if he chose to, which is all the stuff at the DOJ.
Yeah, managing expectations. That's the thing, is he's going to release some nothing burger. But presage it by saying, I'm going to release everything and it still won't be enough for you. And then here's a tiny morsel. And look, there, I told you it wasn't enough for you. So he's managing expectations.
So I hope MAGA won't be hoodwinked into thinking that he's doing something great by releasing a few tidbits from the grand jury.
No, they're not going to be happy with tidbits. They want names. They want names of people. They want to see people in prison. They want careers.
Want Democrat names.
Well, yes, that's right. But they want careers ruined. And you can't release one half and then keep the other half under wraps, because that ain't going to work for them either.
No. I was thinking about what your earlier caller said about, has it always been this way? You're younger.
Yes.
It must be really confusing for young people to think, because it was never like this in my lifetime.
Ever.
But that's not to say, I think this could become the new norm, worryingly, because I think Trumpism is spawning across the world, like-minded people in power.
It is and it isn't. There's both a move of some autocrats to sort of copy Trump, and...
Well, we've got our own Farage, who could do very similar by dismantling all our public services, just like Trump is doing, and making millionaires and billionaires.
I would expect Farage to do the exact same thing that Trump is doing, to take away the safety net of the people that he's trying to appeal to.
So I hope the young don't vote to allow him to get into power,
Well, you can't give them the vote and then tell them how to vote. It's going to be up to them. All right, thanks a lot, Claire. 0345 6060 973. Jamie in Toronto says, I told you about the salt gun over a year ago with laser aiming. You're joking. Well, can't you just use the laser? I'll probably set fire to my house. But that sounds great. Laser aiming pump action salt gun for hitting flies and such. That just sounds like a disaster waiting to happen, doesn't it? No. I'm going to use the death bat. It's more precise and less damaging. Leicester. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Nick.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, I just want to praise Trump for just a fantastic achievement. He made Cole Palmer look like a towering intellectual, which is some achievement, isn't it?
Well, he's tall, if that's what you mean by towering.
Yeah, I mean, let's not being too unkind, but Cole Palmer isn't exactly the cleverest of footballers. He's not like a...
Well, he's a clever footballer. But what you're saying is he doesn't have the smarts outside of football, but that's not what he's paid for. The Oxford professor of history is probably not a smart footballer.
Probably. There was Dr. Socrates, of course, of Brazil, who was an actual doctor. But he was good. But it's just the brilliant moment where you see Cole Palmer saying, "What's he doing?"
Yeah, what's he doing?
It's such wisdom in those words.
Yeah, I loved that Infantino trying to get him off the stage as well. He thought he was just going to walk up with him, and then he turned back and said, "No, come on, it's not your moment. Get off the stage." And Trump sort of looks at him. He does this really sort of weird. He bends over at the waist. As though to give him an extra special patented Paddington stare, as though to say, "Get lost, mate. This is my stage."
Yeah,
and the spotlight's on it. This is where I'm staying, and he just wouldn't budge.
No, exactly. And there was Rhys James, is it, the captain of Chelsea? Is that right, Rhys James?
Sounds right.
Saying, "You can leave now." It's like, literally, you can see lip read it, like, "You can leave." Such a David Brent moment, I think.
All of those people are on a list now, and they'll rue the day. All right, thanks a lot, Mark. 0345 6060 973. Kate in Kidderminster says, Nick, I taught young people in state schools for 25 years and totally support 16-year-olds having the vote. Most of the 11 to 16-year-olds I taught were more passionate, informed, and educated on current issues like climate change, poverty, local and global, racism, equality, etc., than most ignorant adults that I now work with. In fact, give 11-year-olds the vote and ban the over 65s from voting. Well, now, wait a minute. Yeah, well, I don't know about 11. You've got to draw the line somewhere. The line seems to sit pretty well at 16 to me. I mean, you know, these right-wingers, I don't know what you're worried about. They ain't going to go out and vote anyway. Not to the same extent that the 75-year-olds are going to. Your votes are secure. Don't worry about it. Dave says, I think they send 16 and 17-year-olds into combat, don't they? Do they? I mean, they can join. I don't know whether they can actually get posted or not. Not sure. Alex says, I have a theory about Trump and his Epstein list. Perhaps he doesn't want it released because he's not on it, and that would damage his reputation as a prolific philanderer. Well, I heard that he was going to be so great to women.
I will be so great to women. I cherish women.
I will be so great to women. That word "to" is doing some heavy lifting in that sentence. I will be so great to women. But he does cherish them.
I cherish women.
Yeah, sure you do. 0345 6060 973. Let's see now. Clacton. Hello, Ben.
Hello. I think this is Trump's Watergate. Because they won't let go. They'll keep on until everything's published. Then he'll be gone. Yeah,
I think the indication that might be true is Donald Trump saying his fans, and the radical left lunatics will never be happy with anything he releases. So that's him telling us that he isn't going to release anything that we'll be happy with.
No, I mean, there's so much pressure from all angles. His own supporters are turning against him as well. Yeah. So the Republican Party will get shot of him some way or other because of the fact that the midterms are coming up next year, and there's no way they'll get wiped out.
Well,
if they don't do something about it.
If they have midterms, I would be surprised if America had another election cycle. I mean, I know that people laugh at the thought of that, but, I mean, really, he has already declared a state of emergency. All he has to do is do that again, and it would give him the power to stop elections.
Well, I don't think he'd get away with that. I mean, he's got away with a lot of things.
Name one thing he hasn't gotten away with. Name one thing in his entire life that he has not got away with.
Well, this is too far because of the fact that there's children involved with this.
Yeah.
And nobody, I don't care how right-wing and raving they are, will accept that sort of behaviour against children. It's just, if it's proved, that is, obviously.
Right. Well,
the proof, they won't put up with it.
Yeah, but the proof lays with people who cover up information for a living.
Yeah, I think there's too much out there.
I think the problem that Trump has is that he has... it's his own stupid fault. He kept on and on and on about it.
Yes.
Promising that, make me your president and I will give you all of the information that is required to bury all of these radical left lunatic communists in, up to their necks, and then you can... cover them in honey and pour ants on them, or whatever torture is your delight. And he just did not let it go, and on and on and on. And now he is in a position to do something about it because they did do what he said and they voted for him. Now it's like, oh, well, maybe not. Stop talking about it. Are people still talking? He actually said that. Are people still talking about it? This is him.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Epstein? As though I've never met him. I don't know anything about him. All those photographs of me with him are fake news.
Well, they've even got lip readers.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what he was saying.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the really famous one is of him in a party next to Epstein, and he motions over to one woman, and he says she's hot.
Yes. Well, it depends what age the woman is.
Oh well, it was a fully grown-up woman. Yeah.
But it's gone too far, and I think this is his come up and still happen.
Well, we've all got a ringside seat, Ben.
Well, it would be a very good thing to happen because it's just completely upended the world.
The world, yeah, that's exactly right. He has upended the world. Yes, everything that we were relying on for the benefit of all humankind has just been upended by this painted clown.
Yes.
All right, thanks a lot, Ben. No offence, Donny. Don't put me on a list or anything.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I just want to tell you all how happy I am to be back in the studio, making a picture again.
Yeah, it's a radio show, dear. Phil in Devon says, I always love this time of week. Chips. The only way is fresh potatoes sliced accordingly, blanch in hot water for 4 minutes, left to go cold, then fry in shallow oil until the desired crispness. By the way, homework, Nick, we need an up-to-date photo of you. I've got no idea what you look like. All the photos of you are ancient. Yeah, that's true. By design, yeah. And those ancient photos aren't actually of me. They're just some random picture that we found on a bus. Somebody had left it on a seat. Andy says, at 16, did you even know what you wanted to do when you left school? I doubt it, says Andy. Yes, Andy, I did know what I wanted to do when I left school. And I'm doing it. East Yorkshire. Hello, Mike.
Morning, Nick. Yeah. Nice to hear Liz tonight. And I have to sympathise with her because in East Yorkshire we have no swift swallows or have starting this year.
Really?
Quite a few came in April. And then, it was a hot early spring.
Yeah.
And they disappeared, and we all thought, they'd gone to Glasgow for a normal British summer. And they haven't come back. There's none here. It's weird. I've never known to...
Do you think it's because we had such a little amount of water? There was just no rain?
It could be, and so few insects.
Yeah, right. That's it. Yes, insects. That's it. Yes.
It's weird, but and the music one first, and then I'll get on to Trump. I've never seen this in a football match before, and I've watched football for damn near 70 years. Watching Germany-France in the women's Euro quarter-finals tonight, first time I've ever seen this. France got awarded a penalty correctly. The German player involved got sent off correctly, but it was what she got sent off for. She got sent off for pulling her opponent's ponytail.
Ungentlemanly play. What is the equivalent? Yeah.
Assault. If she'd pulled a shirt, it would have just been a penalty.
Right.
But pulling a ponytail was assault. And this German player went absolutely ballistic. And she had to be escorted off the pitch, and she was still complaining.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, you stupid woman, why don't you pull a shirt?
Well, yeah. I mean, if a bloke pulled some other bloke's ponytail, because, male footballers have some crazy haircuts, then that would probably get you sent off as well, wouldn't it? I mean, if it was a penalty decision, wouldn't that lead to a sending off?
Well, it probably would, yeah, because it's not the same as nutting somebody or punching them.
Yeah.
In a sense, but it's the first time I've ever seen that getting sent off.
Right.
Pulling a ponytail.
A ponytail? No, I've never seen that either. Huh.
But going on to Trump, though, for a man who would not lose a vote if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue.
Right.
What the hell is in these files? And it goes back to what the hell's Putin got on him.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, precisely.
There has to be something in that. But don't pray for a quick win. You're all stop cheering Murdoch on. I don't want a quick win. I want a score draw.
Oh, yeah.
First replay, second replay, extra time, and penalties. Because the longer this goes on, the more damage it does to him.
To both of them.
And who the hell wants... Do you really want J.D. Vance as president?
Well, the thing with J.D. Vance is he has the personality of a soap dish. He is just not an attractive proposition at all. Trump is the battering ram that the psycho tech bros, who are the money behind the operation, use in order to get what they want. They know that Trump can say any stupid thing that they tell him to do or that he likes, and his MAGA fans will go along with it. J.D. Vance does not have that personality. No one's going to follow J.D. Vance.
No, so what we want is J.D. Vance taking over in 2.5 years' time and then not getting re-elected.
Right.
That is much better plan.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so maybe 2 years of spending hundreds of millions of pounds on expensive lawyers and them going back and forth and tearing chunks out of each other in court. and then they get consigned to the dustbin of history.
And all the MAGA fans wanted was a bit of Trump porn. They wanted a bit of gold-issued porn by Trump saying, this is what we want. This is what happened. I wasn't involved, but look at all this porn. I can give you it all packaged up and sell you it at $500 a page. It'll be great. And now he's saying, no, you're not having your porn. And the maggots aren't liking it.
Right. When you say porn, you don't actually mean porn, do you? You mean just the delicious
revelations.
The delicious revelations of names that they recognise coming under the inspection of the law. That's what you meant by porn, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, just solicitation rubbish about rich people and famous people.
Right.
But you don't know who it's actually going to be at the end of the day, and it's obviously not who the Republicans want it to be.
No, quite, yes. I mean, they're each and every accusation is a confession, we know that. But them telling us that there's nothing there does really indicate that there's an enormous amount there. Yeah.
And the disappearing file, the disappearing desk, the disappearing office.
I ain't got no office. What building? What building? Yeah. All right, thanks, Mike. 0345 6060 973. Fletcher texts, the Epstein information that people want released is actually the clients. Previously, Epstein's contact list has been released, and that's the list that they didn't say anything except there were some associations between that person and Epstein. It's amazing that it took this scandal for his zombie-like followers to actually question whether Trump might have lied to them previously. Yeah, only on this issue are they concerned that he's lied to them, yeah. But, that's the nature of being in a cult. You just take on face value whatever the dear leader says, even if it contradicts your direct experience. This is a cat, he'll say, showing them a dog. And they'll all reply, that is a cat. But when you say clients, do you mean his business associates or people who have actually joined him in whatever shenanigans that he got up to on that nightmare island of his? Because he had business clients, right enough, and an enormous amount of money that came into his accounts from sources unknown. I mean, talking billions of dollars, thousands of millions of dollars. And as far as I'm aware, people don't really know how he got the money or what was it for. There's so much in this, there really is. And to try to adopt the position that there's nothing there is just not going to fly. Hackney, hello, James.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Nick. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Hi, I think it's the first time I'm on your show, and it's a privilege and honor to be here. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Welcome along.
Yes, so if you were talking about Donald Trump, and you were even mentioning the word before. He has cult fans. I'm a really strong Trump supporter, and I would like to come and defend him.
Okay.
So, I think that when you say Trump is a cult leader, I think that it's the most stupid thing to say, because of Donald Trump is the person who actually fought against threat to democracy. They were calling Donald Trump the threat to democracy. I see Joe Biden as a threat to democracy if someone of these two are. So first of all,
why do you say that though?
Okay, I'll tell you in a second. I just wanted to bring out that...
Well, no, don't switch around. You said that Joe Biden was a threat to democracy. What do you mean by that?
I did not say that Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. I said if one of these two are a threat to democracy, it's Joe Biden, not Donald Trump.
Isn't that saying that he is a threat to democracy?
Nope. I said who's closer to a threat. Who is closer to a threat to democracy is Joe Biden.
But why do you say that?
Okay. So threat to democracy, I think, is when someone comes... threat to democracy is that when we see the whole time videos of Joe Biden, he's got no idea what's going on with him, stripping down steps, talking... making a bridge from Mexico.
Every one of those videos of Joe Biden, you could get at least one of Donald Trump doing the exact same thing.
No, that's not true.
Well, it is true, James. But what does that have to do with being a threat to democracy?
What that has to do with a threat to democracy, that they were lying the whole time to the American citizens who wanted to know what's going on with their president, telling the whole time. And once Joe Biden went out of the race, suddenly by the debate, they always came out, well, Joe Biden is a problem, Joe Biden is a problem. Seriously? I think that by the debate he performed very well compared to different videos and performances he did. No, the truth, the reason is because of they didn't have a problem that Joe Biden has no idea. Because I don't think Joe Biden was leading America in his 4 years. I think that he was just having people behind his back leading it.
Well, and the president doesn't make all of the choices that come from the White House. Ronald Reagan's wife's astrologer was making decisions about America when he was the president.
I don't think that was right. But it doesn't mean that Joe Biden becomes right because Ronald Reagan did that.
But do you think that Donald Trump is making all of the decisions that come out of the White House? Or do you think that the people behind him are...
Definitely not, because that's not the point of... That's a dictator. That's a cult leader. Someone who doesn't reckon on any decisions of...
So by your logic, what Joe Biden did, according to you, was wrong, and the very same thing, if Donald Trump does it, is right.
No, because of Donald Trump...
That's what you just said.
I did not say that. Donald Trump is a president who leads America, and he does take ideas and suggestions, and he has there's such a thing of that he has people to speak through it with. And you saw very clearly when the Russian-Ukraine thing, he was
how many times have you seen Donald Trump sign one of the in his big boy squiggle, sign one of those proclamations, and then get told what it was he just signed by the person who's standing next to him?
No, Donald Trump signs a thing what he knows what he's signing.
No, I just described the situation in which he doesn't. I've seen that multiple times. He was just asked, who stopped the shipment of arms to Ukraine? And his answer was, I don't know, why don't you tell me? He didn't even know that the arms had been stopped.
Yes, because obviously there are things going, because Donald Trump can't be on top of every single thing.
James, I go back to my point before. What you claimed was the problem with Joe Biden. You could say the exact same thing about Donald Trump, but when it was Joe Biden doing it, that was wrong. When it's Donald Trump doing it, that's right. That, James, is being a cult member. In the room where dreams arise, dandelions kiss the skies. In poems and tales they fly free, the symbols of boundless liberty. The dandelions whisper in the breeze, a journey beyond with effortless ease. 0345 6060 973. I guess if you're in a cult, you can't see you're in a cult. I mean, that seems clear.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Shut up.
I can't. 0345 6060 973. Nikki in Kent says, Nick, what are the Democrats doing? Have they been muzzled? Isn't there anybody coming up on the rails that can challenge the Mango Mussolini? Why are they so quiet, says Nikki in Kent. Well, yeah, I would point to Gavin Newsom, who I think is doing excellent work. I mean, he's really fighting back. And he's fighting back using the media, which, a lot of Democrats aren't very... they're not very proficient in. Now, the Republicans are very, very good at it. And in much the same way as Farage is very good at using the media in this country, so they are in America, the Republicans. The Democrats, not so much. But Gavin Newsom is really punching back, which is good to see, about blooming time. I guess part of the problem is that the media just cannot stop pointing their camera and talking about Donald Trump. So it's sort of... it's very difficult for anybody else to share the stage because the media in America, whether they're on whether they're centrist or left or right, they just can't stop putting Trump on telly, which is one of the reasons that he became the president in the first place. All of the networks just thought, well, this guy, even if the viewers hate him, they can't stop looking at him, so he's box office gold, so we'll just put him on forever, 24 hours a day. We've gave him hundreds of millions of dollars worth of free publicity. So when the spotlight is firmly on somebody else, it's a bit difficult to sort of barge in. But no, Gavin Newsom, yeah, follow him, because he's actually really good. Bodmin, hello, Malcolm.
Good evening, Nick. How are you, sir?
Very well, thanks.
Couple of three things. Mike, who was on short while ago, was on about the lady who got sent off for hair pulling.
Oh, yeah.
Well, last weekend, a man was sent off for hair pulling.
Oh, really?
In the PSG-Chelsea game.
Really?
Just last weekend, yeah. Look it up. PSG versus Chelsea.
Right.
Chelsea attacking the PSG goal, and a long-haired lad from Chelsea was advancing at a great pace towards the goal when a PSG player grabbed his hair, so to speak, from behind.
His bouffant do, yeah.
And put him on his back, yeah. But in that game, it needed VAR to confirm that the hair had been pulled,
right,
and that the player should go.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, look, the president and the media mogul. It's going to be a long running story. It's already been a long running story. In 2022, Rupert Murdoch backed Ron DeSantis. But Ron DeSantis very, very quickly fell behind massively in the polls to the Donald, because the Donald was obviously MAGA's man. So the media mogul moved back to Trump. Look, the media mogul moved to a fellow called Youngkin. So the media mogul went for this other fella, Glenn Youngkin. Yeah.
Who's that?
For short, well, he was. I think he was a governor. I might be wrong, but I'm almost sure he was a governor. And
when you say Rupert Murdoch moved to him, in what way?
Well, when he saw that Ron DeSantis was losing steam very, very rapidly,
yeah,
the media mogul, he didn't want to back a loser, so he moved his support from DeSantis to this fellow Glenn.
But how did his support manifest itself?
Well, back he declared, I don't want Donald to win. I don't support him anymore. We need somebody new, and I am back in Ron DeSantis. But then the voters repelled Ron DeSantis, and
Right, I don't recall any of this. Are you talking about this, the election,
Google it.
the election that just happened, or the first
election that just happened?
Right, I don't recall any of that, and I don't recall that Fox News was putting anybody on, apart from Donald Trump, like 24 hours a day.
A very quick Google, which is what I did earlier, will bring you a heap of pages, which will confirm what I'm saying. But anyway, look, this fellow Youngkin, he then declared, "I'm not standing." And Trump was so far ahead in the polls, he got the nomination, so the media mogul fell in behind him. But this is going to be the pattern next. The media mogul is going
You can
to
say
fight.
his name, you know.
No, I don't want to. The media mogul is going to fight the president every inch of the way, right? And he's going to be against him, he's going to be for him. He's going to be against him, he's going to be for him. And in a minute, this will blow over. The media mogul will I know, he'll sack. Oh, and by the way, did you know that the editor who published this letter that Trump is alleged to have written is an English lady?
What's her name?
I forget her name. Look it up, Google it, it's there.
You're giving me a lot of work to do, Malcolm. I'm not sure about this.
It's simple. It's
okay. All right.
editor of
Okay.
WSJ.
All right.
But anyway, the point I'm making is this, right? This is going to go back and forth, in perpetuity because Rupert Murdoch will back who he thinks is going to be the winner. There, I said Rupert Murdoch, right? He, the media mogul, is going to back Trump because Trump isn't going anywhere. And
I don't know. I mean, he can be brought down. I mean, this is the kind of thing that could bring somebody like Donald Trump down. I mean, in much the same way as it wasn't the break-in that brought down Nixon. It was the cover-up.
Yeah. Next, Trump has made the podcasters, and the podcasters are kicking off a little bit now because, as you rightly say, they want to nail the Dems, right? The pedo Dems.
I don't know about the podcasters. I mean, how much influence they have compared to the juggernaut that is Fox News. I don't think that. I don't think they outgun Fox News. I really don't. But either way, I'm not sure. Well, we'll find out, I guess. I mean, pontificating about what may or may not happen in the future is kind of pointless, really. It may last another 2 years, or it may be over in 2 days. Donald Trump may withdraw his suit and claim victory, which would be just him all over. But we'll find out when we get there. Got to go, Malcolm, but thanks for that. Bagshot. Hello, Charles.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Charles.
You had a caller before the previous one, and you talked about Trump being a cult. Yeah, absolutely, it is a cult. And the reason I know that is because I was once in that cult, and I was also in the Farage cult. I was a Farage and Brexit. I didn't vote Brexit because I got out. Funnily enough, I got out of the Farage cult before the Trump cult. But it's weird. I always want to write this down, but it all came from Alex Jones.
Oh,
I mean,
right, talking about podcasters, that's what he does, right?
Yeah,
he's the guy that shouts a lot and then sells people vitamins that will get them through the next World War, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I almost want to write down about my journey in that because this is, I mean, I was all into this garbage for years.
Well, how did you get into it?
It was just, I think a lot of it was loneliness, and a lot of it was sitting on my computer for too long.
Right.
And then starting to just watch Alex Jones constantly. And what actually got me out of Alex Jones eventually was, you're talking about the lie that gets you. Well, all the lies and the garbage he told, I fell for it, and I fell for all that garbage. But it was one lie he told, and it was regarding the year 2000 computer bug. They said, well, that was all a lie, that didn't happen. And I thought,
No, actually, that is a lie, because I worked in IT for 30 years. So I knew damn well we were doing IT projects for years. No one wanted to... It's the one project no one wanted to do was the year 2000 project, because it was mindless code changes.
Yes. Must have been very, very boring, but also quite terrifying at the time, because until the clock ticked over, people didn't know with certainty what was going to happen.
That's right. But when Alex Jones clearly lied and said there was no bug, well, there was a bug, but we fixed it.
Yeah, and the bug, for those who can't remember, was that computer programmers had, from the very earliest days, put 2 digits as the year, not thinking ahead that we were going to get to the point at which we got to number 1 again, or number 0, for the year 2000. And so 69, the computer might not have been able to... Or 00, the computer might have thought it was 1900 rather than 2000, and then, planes were expected to fall from the sky and lifts would stop and, the water would back up and, gas canisters would explode and so on.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to sort of put... I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I think my story about how I fell down into this cult would be a great... story with Stephen Graham playing Alex Jones, because I think he could be a really good Alex Jones.
Stephen Graham is the guy who was in Adolescence.
Right? Yeah.
He does look like him.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Looks a bit like him.
He'd be brilliant.
But Alex Jones, one of the things that, the thing that really did for him in the end, assuming that we've got past that point, is the Sandy Hook thing. All those poor parents of those dead children that were killed in the Sandy Hook school. And he just kept going on and on and on, saying that they were lying, that they were acting, that they didn't have their children weren't killed. And how incredibly cruel was that? And so that didn't bother you. The bit about the year 2000 bothered you.
No, I'm not ashamed. I'm ashamed of this. I really am. But I think it's good to be honest. And I'm spending all my days now trying to get people out of this cult. Look, I'm absolutely ashamed of the garbage I used to believe. The thing is, I think I've got credibility with these people, because all the garbage they fall for now, I used to fall for, and that's what makes this so dangerous. Look, I'm in IT. I mean, I've got a good paying job. I'm reasonably intelligent. I'm not an Einstein, but I'm not stupid. But it clearly shows that how dangerous these influences can be.
Well, it's very attractive to think that you're part...
Absolutely.
To think that you know
that's
something...
The key.
Hang on a minute. It's very attractive to think that you know something that other people don't, that you're part of a group that has some sort of inside knowledge that others are unaware of. It's that, don't tell anybody, but... And then whatever follows, you're more inclined to believe because you think you have been gifted some sort of special insight that is not available to ordinary people. And that's partly their trick. That's what they do. So, I don't know, maybe spend your time trying to undo what they do, Charles. Or just turn the computer off and walk away. That's probably a better idea. Yeah. All right, nice to talk to you. Thanks for that.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Come on, we're running late.
We are running late. Jacob says, Nick, you've had problems with your Simply Connect Your Bluetooth to Enjoy oven and your Simply Sign Up for Instructions well-known window cleaning solution. And now the Simply Do Not Add Oil to your air fryer. Do you think your problem is that you just can't do anything simply? Rude. Wayne in Billingham says, Trump lies constantly. Why would anybody believe when he claims that something is fake? Plus, it's just a birthday card. Why such a fuss over a bawdy card? Why make such a big deal about it and sue Murdoch? It's bizarre. Yeah, That is actually a thought that I haven't heard from anybody else. It is a bit of an extreme reaction to what seemed like not much, really. I mean, there wasn't anything that you would want to cover a child's ears. I mean, it wasn't salacious. It wasn't rude, particularly. I mean, they might have hinted at something we don't know, but we don't know what it was hinting at. It does seem as though he's protesting too much. What's the big deal? Which is a thought that I haven't heard from anybody else. Yeah, well spotted, that man. Pimlico. Hello, Darryl.
Hello, Nick. Nice to be on your show. I just want to say I've been thinking a lot lately, and with the problem that we're having with Russia on one hand, China on the other, and then not being able to rely on America anymore, I think that Britain should become a superpower. Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
Yeah, because after the Second World War, we had the opportunity to become a superpower. We were producing so many planes and weaponry. We had the choice of becoming a superpower like the United States. And we turned the idea down and just said we'll just be an ordinary country like every other country.
What do you mean by superpower?
Well, we should develop more nuclear weapons and more.
How many nuclear weapons would be enough to make you a superpower? We already have the firepower to blow the world up.
Well, no, we don't. We don't have it. No, but NATO has most of it. In NATO is actually in America. But America, they won't come to Europe anymore and help anybody in Europe. You know, they say it's your problem. You should take care of your own continent.
Yeah, I don't think being a superpower is having a lot of nuclear weapons. I think it's more than that.
Yeah, it could well be. Yeah,
well,
sure.
It is.
All right then. Yeah.
It's having a high enough GDP to compete with or match those that are described as superpowers.
Yeah. Well, with Russia, patrolling the Black Sea and the North Atlantic, and then the Chinese patrolling the South China Sea, they're expanding their influence in the world, and democracy is becoming more and more frail. But, like we all know that Europe haven't been building defences around their countries in order to support a NATO alliance, and so the best candidate to become a superpower would be Britain.
Yeah, again, I don't think you can decide to be a superpower. You either are or aren't. And I'm not sure that... Maybe it's just you're not using the phrase superpower correctly. You mean a giant military force?
Yeah.
Right, okay, well, that's not a superpower. We are a giant military force. I mean, how many nuclear weapons do you actually need to persuade somebody not to strike first at you? I think we've got plenty. Whether they'll actually work or not when we, in the event of us slamming our hands down on the big red button marked go, well, that's another thing entirely. But I wouldn't worry about it, Darryl. We're going to be spending plenty enough money on weaponry from now until the end of time, I would expect, which should be any moment. Oldbury. Hello, Ranjit.
Oh, how are you, Nick? You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Okay, a story about Carlton Palmer, yeah?
Yeah.
One of my friends, if anybody has played Asian football for the last 50 years, will know about my friend. He's no word of a lie. His name's Bhuta Singh, yeah? He started a football club when he was a young kid in about 1973, yeah? He actually rejected Carlton Palmer. He says, you're not good enough to wear his football's B and JS. If you look it up, yeah, if you ever meet Carlton Palmer, he says, you're not good enough to play for me, and he went to play for England. Well, so sometimes you can make a bad decision.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stories like that. I mean,
but this is true. I can prove it.
Yeah, no, by stories, I didn't mean things that you've made up. I mean, there are a lot of tales that would echo that, because the Beatles were turned down by so many record companies, and then one hit pay dirt by saying, "Oh yeah, all right then, go on, we'll give you a go."
Okay, I want to get onto Trump, but quickly, like the Environment Secretary, he says, "Listen, I want to reduce the pollution by 50% by 2030."
Yes.
Mate, don't say it. Just go away, please. Don't say it. That's what I think about that. What we're supposed to do in the next 5 years, not go to the seaside, not go for a swim. Okay, waste of time.
It just seems extraordinary to me that if you or I polluted our local waterway, we'd go to jail. If the CEO of a major water corporation pollutes on a daily basis, they don't go to jail. They go to the House of Lords.
Yeah. Okay. The Education Secretary, right, says all the kids are going to be concentrating on the exams. Love, if you're listening...
No, that's the shadow education.
Your shadow, Listen, love, Ranjit says, right, the kids spend a lot of time raising money, right, for sponsorship, trying to beg people, listen, I need a book for my school, I need a pen for my school, will you sponsor me, Ranjit? Right, only 50p, please, Ranjit, And then the rest of the time, they go around trying to collect the money from the poor people who have sponsored them, Right, going on, because I know you're coming up towards the end of the show, Now, going on about Trump,
Have you got a list?
No, I've been listening and I've been gathering thoughts. Right, Trump has gone in now, right, for a $10 billion lawsuit, right?
Yeah, billion, not million.
Billion, yeah. It's going to be not a case of who blinks first, right? And, me and you have used the same philosophy as what America's used. Your enemy's enemies, your friends. So we're all of a sudden now, we're rooting for Murdoch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Talk about strange times.
Yeah. The thing is, right, what's happened is that Donald Trump thinks that he had a lot of dirt on the Clintons. He's probably found out, hang on, listen, mate, I've had a quick look at this, right? Hang on. All the dirt's about me, right? And suddenly he's thinking...
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know anything of the sort.
Remember when I told you a couple of years ago, right? I said, listen, when Donald Trump says he's the best at everything and he starts showing graphs, and somebody goes, Donald, can you hold the graph the right way up? You'll see it's actually going down, not going up. And that's the kind of mentality he's got now.
I think that the number is so large that he's not suing the Wall Street Journal for £10 million. He's suing them for £10 billion, and I think that he made that number so large in order to freak the company out, which is total Donald Trump all over. It's make the first offer or the first move so bad that they immediately cave. And I would expect that was what he was thinking would happen, that they would think, oh, 10 billion, well, OK, we can't do that. We'll just settle. We'll give him £50 million and he'll be happy and we'll print an apology and blah, blah, blah. But it's just too much. Billion, I mean, that's going to really irk somebody like Rupert Murdoch, I would imagine. Now, you know what? By tomorrow, this may all be over, and Murdoch may have fired all of the people that were responsible, and it would be like it never happened. Or this could be the thing that takes down Donald Trump and all of his maggots with him. Rupert Murdoch may be the man that saves the planet. Like I said, don't we live in strange times? Ranjit, gotta go. Out of time. But thanks for that. 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 Out of time.